Welcome back to another monthly masterclass by Post Purchase Pro. We're going to give it a few seconds here while people load in. I know Zoom has a little bit of a delay. So, guys, in the chat box, go ahead and find that now. Go ahead and let us know that you can hear us, that you can see the screen. And as you guys are getting let in by Zoom, Dylan, what is going on? Dylan Pettijohn, not Mr. Dylan Lamb. Dylan, I'm going to go ahead and turn your camera off there. You're the second Dylan today. So Dylan, what has been going on, my friend? It's been like I don't know, several weeks since we've been able to do anything fun. These holidays are getting in the way. What's been going on?
Oh, I
Oh yeah,
know. It seems like everybody goes to sleep for like 2 weeks.
more than 2 weeks, man. It's like 2 weeks before Christmas, 2 weeks after New Year's. It's been restful, but I'm ready to get back in action. Guys, we're going to kick this thing off right now, but I wanted to say hello to some people that are jumping in live. We have Alan and Abdel, Ariel and Bea, Brandon, Carolina, Dennis, Dimitri, EPP, not sure. We have Mr. Global, James, Jason, Jonathan, Josh, Juan, Mario, or Dylan, as you would say, Juan, Marcia, Nicole, Richard, Rod, Cedric, Tanya, Tracy, Veridots, Yossi. More people coming in. We have all kinds of great speakers today, guys. So let's officially jump in now. Looks like more people are loading in as we speak, but we'll go ahead and jump in so we don't get too far behind. So, guys, welcome back to the monthly masterclass by Post Purchase Pro. We're going to jump straight into valuable strategies and content today so we can stay on schedule. First, we want to do that audio visual check. Nobody let me know how audio is coming through. So in the chat box, please find that now. Let us know audio sounds good, visuals are coming through. So guys, find the chat box right now and shoot me a message, and then we'll officially jump in. Sounds good to me. Looks good. Great. Thanks, guys. All right. So as you know, if you've been here before, every month we bring you the best entrepreneurs, the best experts from around the industry to share strategies from the Amazon world, but also some strategies from general e-commerce. And sometimes there are wide-ranging strategies. The format, as usual, is we're going to have 2 to 5 guest speakers. I think today we have 4 or 5, maybe even 6. The speakers are going to speak for between 20 and 45 minutes, usually around 30. So if you don't like a topic, stick around. A new one's coming right up. It's going to center around creating more profits on Amazon and e-commerce through a wide variety of approaches. And we're trying to get you to think outside of your box. So we're going to bring you new ideas, new concepts, new speakers, all kinds of things that are hopefully on the cutting edge, or sometimes some tried and true things that give you an edge in this industry, right? All right, here's something important to think about. The reason why we are hosting these monthly master classes is literally to make you more money. We never accept any commission from any of the speakers in any form. They cannot pay to be here. They cannot give us affiliate commissions. We will not accept it. And because of that, we are only bringing them to you because we think they are valuable. Okay. So rest assured that you're not here because somebody paid to be here to share an idea with you. They're actually here because we have made contacts in the industry. They have shared something valuable to us, or we have seen them share something valuable, and we think that they would be useful for you. All right. If you aren't in our WhatsApp group, you can get bonus strategies there. So a lot of times there are weeks where we're sharing a strategy every day. There's weeks where we share one a week. And for the past few weeks, we've been off. But in the WhatsApp group, we do tend to share some pretty cool stuff. If you want to get in, you can join that group at joinprivategroup.com. Or you can scan that QR code. I'll leave that there. And then Dylan, if you don't mind, double check the link before you paste it in. So it's a hyperlink, and drop that link into the chat box for everybody. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into our first speaker. We have a kind of a double here. We have Brexton and Jamin. Brexton and I got to know each other in person over the last several months, and he's an amazing entrepreneur. But Sean is the one who first was exposed to him. And the first thing that jumped out to me was his amazing ability to teach. So Brexton, I'm going to go ahead and have you turn on your video, come on with me. And then what I want to talk about here is the time that you and I got to spend on the beach together a little bit. What was it? A few months ago now. where we just essentially hung out as entrepreneurs and friends and got to know each other and got to know what drives us and pushes us, and we got to meet the family, right? So it was a lot of fun. But you've spent a lot of time as a teacher and bringing that into the Amazon e-commerce world as a community builder, as a founder now, as a leader. It's really amazing to see your journey, and I know you've had tons of success so far, but you're going even bigger places. Brexton, welcome to the monthly masterclass, and let's talk about Mr. Jamin as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Seth. What an intro. It's such a pleasure to be here. You and Sean and Post Purchase Pro, the whole team, do such a good job of getting smart, incredible, innovative minds in the industry together. That was one example you pointed out on the beach. This is another great example today, and we're just thrilled to be here. I got joining me today is, yeah, you do really well, for real. I'm joining me today is coworker of mine and partner that I've absolutely loved working with is Jamin Arvig. He has a very, very impressive background. He's been in e-commerce for over 20 years. I've got a slide with a couple of things. Should I go ahead and share my screen at this point?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see here. Should be able to share now, Brexton.
Right, it's perfect. Make sure we got everything up. Perfect. Is that showing up okay for everybody?
Sounds good, my friend. Go ahead.
Nice. So Seth gave a little bit about me. My background is in building communities, doing live workshops, and bringing bright minds together in the industry. I've had the great chance to work closely with Jamin lately. Jamin owns and operates several 7- and 8-figure brands, so it's always a cool opportunity when you're working with somebody that is in the weeds day to day, actually running brands. He's always got amazing insights to share. Right now, he invests in a lot of different brands, always looking for ones with differentiated product roadmaps. And over the last 20 years, Jamin has studied law. He's been to Harvard Business School. He's served on the Thrasio Board of Advisors and built multiple Inc. 500 businesses. So his experience in e-commerce is both deep and wide-ranging, and we're excited to learn from him a little bit more today. Jamin, I think I'll turn it over to you if that's all right.
Sounds good.
Sound good, Seth?
Excited to be here, guys. Thanks, Post Purchase Pro. Seth,
Yes.
appreciate it. Braxton, thanks for the intro. Let's roll. So today we want to think differently, as Seth mentioned here. We want to really think outside of the box, and I'm going to try to do that for you. We're going to try to figure out how you can have a different frame of mind so you can identify your real constraints and opportunities. It's so common when we hear from brands that they try X, Y, Z and they give up. They figure Amazon's not for them and they move on. And or they may even try it multiple times, but they just can't get where they want to go. And a lot of times the constraints and opportunities that people are talking about are not actually the real ones. So we try to help get under peel back the onion several layers and try to figure out what really are the real constraints and opportunities. So I'm going to give you some examples of that today and kind of get that mindset moving if that's possible. So also, as Seth mentioned, profitable growth is such a massive problem. It was a big problem last year. So that's not a constraint. That's the end result of many different constraints. And we all know ad spend cost is going up, and some of those macro things do make it more difficult. That's true. But when we look particularly at one brand, we need to figure out what are the actual challenges and constraints. So what is keeping us from optimizing for profitability? And a big part of it goes to how we are managing, how we are looking at the constraints and what the resources are that we're using to do that. Are we using an in-house team? Or are we hiring an agency? And so both of these approaches have limitations, and you need to know what these are so you can use them together, or at least go in knowing what works well. There's some very common challenges that we see, and I know you do too. And some of these things, no doubt, do sound familiar. You've got increasingly competitive categories and falling conversion rates and higher, rising PPC costs, and it's tough to spend. But if we do have the best of both worlds from what an agency offers and what an in-house team offers, we can figure out really what is the what is the optimal way to run, and how do we find our constraints? So at the top, you see how agencies typically work. They've got great capabilities for specialized ad spend or specialized account management work or whatever it is. So they're very good at one thing, and they may or may not be at a low cost, but it can be. On the left, you see how in-house departments can really adapt to specific business needs. That's how they've been built. They're good at an industry, they're good at a business. They're not necessarily good at deep knowledge and expertise at a particular capability. They miss a lot of that. They don't have exposure to lots of brands. So we of course don't want to be in the no section for both of these things. That would be death. But so we want to figure out how can we really get the best of both worlds here, that an in-house team offers and an agency offers. Part of what this is by hiring an in-house marketing department. And you can do this, some of these things, for not much more, similar cost, maybe even less than what an Amazon agency would charge. Let's look at the costs of hiring an agency. And there are the hard costs. An agency can cost from $30,000 to $300,000 per year. The monthly costs add up. This is for a smaller e-commerce store. When we've worked with bigger e-commerce stores, it can start at the 300,000 marks. And that would be for a narrow view. But when we're working with smaller e-commerce stores, the numbers still do add up, and it is again for a specialized part of the business. In addition to those, there are big opportunity costs when working with an agency. We've got profitable revenue opportunities that are missed because there's cookie cutter methods. If we're a hammer, everything's going to look like a nail, right? So with the agency approach, you do need to be mindful of those limitations when you go in. Operational efficiencies also are often not achieved because the metrics that an agency use may not truly be customized for your needs. And then there are missed opportunities elsewhere just by the inability for an agency to flex. So the cost of hiring an in-house team is very different. An in-house team might be much more expensive. It typically would be than an agency, because you are covering more than just a specialty. You're covering things like specialists, but also project managers, strategists, people that can actually make sure you're going the right direction too. So if you've got a department, that's going to be for sure hundreds of thousands, even if you've got a small company. Opportunity costs of hiring an in-house team do exist as well. So you want to be watchful of these, mindful of these as well. So there can be a poor ad strategy. There's so many in-house teams that, again, are good at the business part, but they're not good at ad strategy. They're not good at content. They're not good at bidding. They're pretty good, but they don't have all the best practices. They don't have all the exposure to all the strategies. As a result, they have less revenue. They have misallocation of inventory, and then they have stockouts. They have problems with stockouts creating lower rankings, and it's a vicious cycle. So they typically don't have all the data analysis skills too, unless you do have people doing that as well, data scientists, which would then add to more costs. So how do we get the best of both worlds? When we're trying to identify our true constraint and our true opportunities, we need to have the best talent at the best cost. We need to have our blind spots covered by both an agency approach and an in-house team approach. And this can be done by creating a custom marketing department. And with our businesses, we do this. With our brands, we do this, and then we've got a team that we siloed off that then can help other brands that we don't necessarily invest in as well. So we function the same way. We have a custom marketing department as a service, and so we make sure, and you all can do this internally or with other resources. But I'm going to be providing you some considerations and some checklist type things, so you can know that you're covering your blind spots. So you need to make sure you do have somehow access to strategists and managers. If you are just looking at tactics, you are going to be missing a lot. I'm going to show you some of those gaps that you're going to be missing. You truly do need to have expert strategists. You also need to have an expert manager that can help you prioritize and watch over the bandwidth and connect the right resources. So when we think about it, we do think about a chessboard like that last slide, and then on this current slide, we think about all the chess pieces that are out there. And that last one is kind of the unknown chess piece that is different for every situation. So some of these others are examples of the chess pieces that we want to deploy. Every quarter, you should be looking at what is the right strategy, what are the opportunities, threats, all that kind of stuff, of course. And then you figure out how to delegate those projects that come from that to the right planning method through the catalog management team, the ad management team, inventory planning, forecasting, profit management folks, this kind of thing, repricing, SEO, on and on and on. So that's how you need to be thinking about deploying the right amount of the right resources, i.e. chess pieces, at a regular schedule. So quarterly can be a good time to reevaluate your plan and strategy and then deploy the right resources. And that's what we do. And it works quite well. So step one is to uncover the real constraints, and we have to do this before we get that team pulled together. Of course, we can't assign the right team until we know the right real constraints or opportunities. So we do this with lots of brands that we manage and run and own, and we do this through not just identifying the constraints, but then after that we architect the right solution. So you need to be mindful once you identify the constraint of actually getting in there and figuring out what truly is the right way to solve this. And a lot of times it will be custom. The third step is to operate, to execute, to get results. And that's what excites all of us, no doubt. How can we have profitable growth? So I'm going to go over a few examples with you today and dig into this. I just want to set that framework so you can think about how the proper team can help you get the right strategy, and then how the right strategy can then help you build out and manage and optimize and refresh your team at the right times. So we're going to look at a few brands. We've protected the names because there are competitive issues out there. But I want to respect the privacy of the brands, but also give you some good hard details as well. So the first one is a home health brand. It's an 8-figure brand. The perceived problem that this brand had was that they had lots of competitors. They didn't know that. They had a race to the bottom on price, and they were not profitable. So that was the perceived problem that they shared with us. The real problem took some unwinding. We had to look at lots of things to figure out really what was the real problem. And in retrospect, these things always look obvious, but there's hundreds of things you think about, of course, when you're figuring out the real problem. And so we did see that the competitors were all selling on FBM. And why was that? That's notable, right? In the year 2023 and now 2024, it is rare for people to all be selling on FBM. So we figured out the reason. It was too expensive to ship these particular products on FBA. There were particular unique packaging constraints. And so we dug further and figured out, well, the product was requiring multiple boxes, and this was not working for anyone in the industry, not just this brand. So, a typical agency probably wouldn't be looking with that type of mindset, and a typical in-house team probably wouldn't either. So what would a typical agency do? They would optimize listings. They would use the hammer they've got. They would spend more. They would talk about, well, if you want to grow, you need to spend. They would maybe think about increasing price to manage margins. They would maybe bundle, do a few. These are good things. These are good best practices. But there are just gaps and blind spots when we're using the same old methods. So what is an effective solution? In this case, we were able to help guide the brand into really pushing for a product that would fit in one box. And this example wouldn't apply to all of you, but the mindset shift, I think, can apply to all of us. So we had to help them figure out how to get in one box, and this really required re-engineering a proprietary solution to solve that problem. So the great thing here then was now they could use this as a differentiator. And so many of us might get excited if a SKU grows quickly, and we see that different brands, even with Thrasio, they had Thrasio being excited about review modes and being excited about some progress. But what is a challenge then is there is so much competition, of course, there's knockoffs. We do not want to get comfortable. We want to make sure we've got differentiators. So in this case, it was an awesome opportunity for the brand to think through, okay, what can the differentiator truly be? and how can we have a proprietary solution to solve this that others cannot easily do or do at all. So I always encourage you to be thinking about that. Maybe for you it's not about having one box instead of two, but maybe it is about figuring out a little bit better differentiator in your product, somehow an app of, lots of ways you can do this that then lets you not directly compete. And then and then we can do the best practices of operating a channel once we get the real constraints solved. So the results were there. We increased profitability. We recovered a 7-digit product line that was becoming obsolete. So it really helped, revolutionize the business. To date, there aren't copycats on it. That we'll see what happens, but there are barriers to entry to prevent that, or at least slow it significantly. So that was one example. Hopefully that's helpful. Another example I'll share with you is about a toy biz, and a business that is also a 7-figure brand. And this brand had a similar problem in a sense that sales were dropping fast. And maybe most people on the call have seen this. Maybe they had a SKU or an ASIN that was doing well, and then sales started dropping. And we start thinking about, what do we do? Price? Do we advertise more? Do we need to refresh the listing? Some of the typical things. In this case, we wanted to dig deeper, and we saw that indeed rankings were falling. We dug down deeper and found that part of the issue really was coming down to stockouts. And then we dug deeper, like why was that an issue? And the real problem was that for this particular client and partner, the channels were competing with the same inventory. So they had multiple channels, which is fine, but then they did have some problems managing across channels that were causing some of the inventory issues, and that was causing rankings to fall, and that was causing sales to reduce. So again, by digging deeper and really go to the first principles thinking approach, Elon Musk talks about this, right? But we're trying to figure out really what is the core problem. So again, in this case, a typical agency might look at optimizing listings, spending more on ads, increasing price, decreasing price, bundling some things. Good things to be looking at, but it would not work in this case. So in this case, what was helpful was to look at streamlining packaging. Turned out, if we could use similar packaging across some of the channels, a couple of the channels anyway, it could reduce the inventory needs dramatically. And by that, there could be inventory savings, cash savings. Because of that, we could have fewer or almost no stockout issues. And because of that, we could have Amazon ranking improvements. So again, results came. So 30% increase in sales year over year. So it was a big change. Again, this is not a quick tweak to the listing. You're not going to hear that from me. I think we all know that that's important, and we have to do that, but those are table stakes. So we need to think more creatively. I'll give you one more example here in some detail. Another company, it's a 7-figure B2B brand, and it was this. I think they were probably bigger overall, actually, but their Amazon business was 7-figure in this case. So their perceived problem again was they weren't hitting their targets. I mean, that's always the highest level we can look at, right? So the conversion rate, the monthly revenue, the AOV was quite high, and they couldn't even advertise, and so they knew that was definitely connected to this. So again, we started looking at the problem, and this is how you have to be thinking. You have to. They were unable to rank. We could see that pretty clearly, and it was clear they couldn't advertise. And the reasons for this was the result of this, I guess, really was there was no buy box available. So they were really having problems. They had a lot to do here. We saw that the negative competitor reviews and listings were part of that story. And the real core problem was this health rating due to poor customer experience. So we went from failing to hit target numbers to honing in on one of the particular ratings at Amazon that was causing a buy box issue. So some of you have seen this. This one probably hits home for some of you. Maybe you've been through this one. I'm just showing it as an example that so you all can see different ways of thinking with different types of problems. So again, a typical agency would probably be looking at improving listings, optimizing ad spend, PPC spend, that kind of thing. But the effective solution that we found was to work with an account manager at Amazon and have them help us by watching over the cases until the buy box solution was complete. So we also helped the brand boost ratings and reviews. That was a key aspect of the health score issue. One of the tools that was used was a search, find, buy program. So there are risks on some of the programs, so we need to be very, very clear on what the risks are. And so we made sure we did this in a way that was to the liking of this particular brand to make sure they were comfortable. And then the best after this, then the best practice SEO work, listing work would be effective. The best practice ads restructuring methods would actually be effective. But we did have to get at those core issues first. And again, results follow. So after 4 months, there's a massive shift. You can see the gray line at the beginning was showing terrible ROAS. They weren't even able to advertise at first. Then they were able to advertise, but it was terrible ROAS. Really, we wanted to drive sales up for them. It was clear for them and for us that was the goal. In this case, we didn't own this brand, and so we were okay letting ROAS slip to a break-even point in order to drive rankings up and velocity up to drive rankings further up, and then get a whole lot more sales and both organically and through advertising and profitably. So this is what we can see together if we are really uncovering the core issues. In this case, there was more. So in digging in, and you can do this if you're curious, if your team is curious and knowledgeable, you can keep digging in, and there are other real problems and other real opportunities. So in this case, we interviewed our client on a lot of things, but strategy and general business, and try to uncover some other opportunities. And one of the things that we saw was there was a very high AOV on the direct-to-consumer website. So we're trying to figure out how could we replicate some of that in the Amazon store. It's easier said than done, of course, but we were able to figure out an effective solution to do this for them. We onboarded them onto Amazon B2B. It's free for all businesses. You should definitely consider this. There's over 1 million customer accounts, and they're still pushing this hard. So procurement officers at companies are, and others, but are able to use that the very easy buy now functionality of Amazon that they're used to at home. So what we did in this case, some strategic consulting on what was the most profitable bulk discount structure. So we had to figure that out. In this case, it made sense to have 4 tiers with increasing discounts. So it's different in every case, but in this case, that's what made sense. And the results followed again. So they're $570,000 in annual revenue up from zero, and with zero added cost. So again, keep looking for these problems, these opportunities creatively, and we can figure these opportunities out together. Happy to be a resource if anyone has questions. By the way, you can throw your info in chat, and I can try to get back to it. But there are plenty of others. I'll just go super quickly. Another example of a company in the sporting goods industry saw huge results, but in their case, focusing on some natural search rankings. But again, there's some constraints with the GTIN exemptions and others. So some of those things needed to be solved first. Another example of a great brand that has a product that was really struggling with competition. And for them, we're able to work side by side and help figure out how we can break through. Zoetis is another great brand, and for them, it was clear that we needed to actually take a hit in ROAS for a little while. And so this is an example where we did go to break even and try to sacrifice short-term profit for growth, and then we're able to turn that up for much more profit later on. You can't always do that. There needs to be there's a time and place for that strategy. Another example is an 8-figure product that was drowning in competition, and there's a very clear plan that we created to help them break through. I don't think we have time to go through all these, but like EBITDA drove north by 10 times in 1 year in that example. So there's lots of ways for you to break through, and no one solution is going to get you there. So hopefully you can have good advisors, good partners, good people internally or externally that can be strategists to help you find these things. And then after you do, make sure you've got the team where you can deploy those resources, deploy those chess pieces, so you can attack and take advantage of those opportunities. Back to you, Braxton.
Jamin, thanks, man. Lots to take in. I think it's become really clear over and over as you share one example after another that to apply any kind of cookie cutter solution is just not going to cut it when it comes to trying to create a profitable marketing arm in your business. We felt like the only way to really highlight that was to just show all these different examples. If without a strategic thinker looking at the problem from a high level view, you can't deploy the right resources and create profitability. So the question really becomes at the end is, insert your own business, right? What is the challenge with your business, and how are you going to solve this problem for you? And likely it involves a very custom solution. When we work with brands, when we begin answering this question, we always start with the first step. We start with a profitable growth strategy, and we have it mapped out really clearly so we know what the things are to look at. We actually want to share that with you. It's a pretty valuable piece. It's like having a CMO map out your annual marketing plan, like a master chess player looking at the entire board, giving you a plan. All the results that you just saw Jamin walk through, this is the first step that each of those brands took to reach those breakthroughs. We wanted to share this with you. We're going to walk through these one at a time. You can scan this QR code and get access. There's no no payment wall, no email grab. This is just free access for you, a handy resource to be able to access this list with further details. Jamin, you want to walk through a few, maybe give some context around these different pieces on our checklist?
Sure. And I think on the screen, you've got kind of a sampling of some of the things to look for in your business. As you're creating a strategy for 10-year BHAG or 3-year differentiators, there's different ways people think about the 10-year, the 3-year, and really figure out how you are going to differentiate your business from the competition. You want to be looking at your product. You want to look at what are the differentiators in your product, what are the differentiators in your offering that will set you apart. We talked a bit about that with a few examples already on this call, but it's very, very common for people not to be objective when they're thinking about their own product differentiation. People oftentimes say, yeah, it's better, it's not the Chinese junk, or the other guys, they're selling a lower quality thing. But when we look at the reviews and the competition is 4.8 or whatever it is, and the customers love them and what they're doing, then we have to think, okay, well, objectively, it looks like they're doing pretty well. So what truly are we differentiating on that our customers care about? We need to be differentiated on the things that customers care about. Sometimes we need to niche down a little bit more and find something that fits the demand of customers. And that's oftentimes can be done. I'm sure tons of people on this call have done that very, very well, is to figure out a niche based on keyword research and traffic and figure out, okay, maybe I'll play there. I'll create my business in that white space and I'll own that market. And that's awesome. That's a great way of thinking about it until you do well and then you get knocked out. So in that process, you want to make sure that you also have some type of long-term differentiator approach built in. We talk more about this and maybe Braxton can say any more on this. Supply chain is another thing too. Of course, years ago, it wasn't as critical to be the best supply chain in the world, but it becomes more and more critical every year. You need to truly have the best supply chain for a comparable product. If you have a mediocre supply chain and a great product, but someone else has way more margin to spend, you get killed. So make sure you're looking at your supply chain too. Operational considerations are paramount also. There's so many ways to look at operations. I mean, you could be thinking about direct shipping to Amazon. You could be thinking about how you can automate things. You can think about ways to minimize challenges and errors. And there's lots of things that can go into operations. But you do need to be good at that also. We find that typically the entrepreneurs are very, very good at understanding the market, and they're great at understanding the product and differentiators there. And they're not always the best at managing a strategy or coming up with the right differentiated strategy, and maybe not always the best at prioritizing that strategy. But together, if you've got a great product and a great marketing positioning, then you can do very, very well if all these other things are at an operationally excellent level. The product listing, well, let me take another 30 seconds on that though. However, the companies that do not spend as much time on product differentiators and market positioning, excuse me, and if they skip straight to the operation side and try to operate well, they will never win. They don't have a leg up on competitors. So we do encourage everyone to really make sure your time is being well spent on product and markets. So you're increasing your value. I think we can get. I'll just give you a quick sampling here, and then we'll move on back to you, Braxton. But of course, when you're creating your strategy, you're looking at product listing, your current listings, and make sure they're high quality. You're looking at data-driven opportunities to really figure out what you can accomplish as your upside. You're looking at the relevancy of keywords and your estimated A cost. You're trying to set a budget deliberately and make sure that you've got a budget that makes sense for your financial objectives. And then you've also got to make sure that you've got the ranking boost strategies that work, and that you've got a budget for them. It could be some of the things we talked about on this call already, but you're going to get more, no doubt, later on this call. So what is the proper budget for that? What is your target for unit sales and your target for reviews and your pricing strategy target? So these are some of the things you want to make sure you're looking at, creating that strategy, then creating the plan, and then getting the teams you need to succeed. Back to you, Braxton.
Thanks, Jamin. So as you can see, there's a lot in it. You more than anything need a high-level strategic thinker to help you decide how to apply all these. As we put our heads together and we're working on this presentation, we were trying to think of the best way to help you take that next step, give you access to some of our strategic capabilities. And we have something you see a lot, special offer for post-purchase pro subscribers. This is really something that we haven't done before. It's something that we developed specifically for this presentation that I'm going to share with you. It's totally free resource for you. So we're not asking for any credit card or anything from you. This is just because we feel really strongly about this need to help people look at their business more strategically. We're offering a small group strategy session for post-purchase pro subscribers. It's going to be led by Jamin. You guys have already heard a little bit about his background, extensive background in the e-commerce world, and he'll be leading out on this. It's going to be really, you're not going to find anywhere else the ability to look at your business with such a holistic lens from top to bottom, to uncover your blind spots and find breakthroughs, and really take the action necessary to force those breakthroughs and start seeing the results that you're hoping for in 2024. So this is a link. It is asking for an email, but that's only so that we can send you the info to join us. It'll be live. We're limiting it to 15 spots so we can really deliver individualized coaching and training and help to you. This will be happening next Wednesday at noon. It's totally free to attend. And we're going to get really, really tactical on our 2024 strategic plan. We really hope to see you there. And you can either scan the QR code or copy and paste this link. In fact, maybe Dylan, you can help us copy and paste this link in the chat for anybody that wants to sign up for us and join.
Yeah, we can pull that off. This is amazing, guys. So, like I said, these guys have something amazing to share. You can obviously tell that they've been around the block a time or two. We love you, Brexton, and Jamin. You guys have been amazing. Thanks so much for sharing those. Those case studies are really cool, Jamin, that you walk through. I love seeing like how most sellers, like this is stolen from Sean, but most sellers hit their business with a hammer because that's the only tool that they have. So when you look at it from a different angle, though, you can see that you don't need a hammer. You might need, something else. So that's really, really insightful. And I love that you guys are putting this on for free for several of our attendees. Guys, take advantage of it. Looks like Dylan just got that in the chat box. Any place else before we move on, Brexton and Jamin, that people should go to find out more about you guys?
Welcome to reach out to us. You can go to support at support at aicommerce.com. Like Jamin mentioned, he's really, really willing to be a resource to anybody that's looking for some strategic help. And we've got a whole team of strategists who are working on problems like this with brands. So
thanks, Brexton.
I've said support at Post-Purchase Pro about 1 million times. That's funny that it just rolled off your lips too.
Hey, good to
So
see you
easy.
guys in the new year, Jamin.
Simple
I threw a white shirt on just to throw you off, man.
Who is that? Okay. Yeah,
Exactly.
good to see y'all too.
Thanks for joining today.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. By the way,
Hey, Seth,
we have
actually-
Bia or Bea in the chat box saying that this was a great presentation. And then Rainia saying that the code is blocked. Not sure. You might just paste to make sure that everybody gets the link that needs it.
Oh, I didn't realize you're seeing my photo, my image there on the shared screen. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right. Thanks so much, Brexton. We're going to move on to Mr. Dylan Lamb. Let's go ahead and mic up Dylan. Get him.
Hi, guys.
There we go.
Yeah, I just can't stop the video. Okay, there you go.
There you go. Hey, there he is. Hey, Dylan. So
Hey, Seth.
we are going to let you jump right in. If you have a screen share or slides, feel free to share it, and then I'll let you formally kick this thing off. Okay?
Okay. Am I the last speaker here? Or?
No, you are the second speaker. We have 2 or 3 more behind you, so you're fine. I know we're a little bit behind schedule, so go ahead. If you have 25 or 30 minutes worth, that's okay.
Okay, I think that. So I'm stoked to be here today with Purchase Pro today to talk about like how we can. Sorry, is my screen? Am I sharing screen?
Yep, you're sharing.
Okay. And can you just confirm is it moving right now?
It's not moving. I just see the Omirank, the first slide. Did you change slides?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just did change size. Is it working?
Now it's working.
Now it's in the topic section, right? The
Yep,
topic.
it's in the topics, introduction, product research, all that.
Okay. I will just start again then. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. As I said, like I'm stoked to be here today. Thank you for having me to be in the presentation today. So it's all about how to launch a product that does not suck in 2024. Okay, so the topic that we're going to be covering is about, from product research, development, the 2024 way to develop a product validation on how you can validate your idea, and how do you do brand development, how you can use branding to tell a story, and eventually how you can launch a product with internal traffic from Amazon and external traffic from the outside Amazon. And how is the best way to launch a product in 2024? Okay, so one of the problem with a lot of seller in the past is about they're launching a Me-Too product. A Me-Too product is actually the problem right now in the industry, as in like that causes a price war, because if this is the immediate product, when you arrive Amazon, 3 months later, you have a bunch of competitors selling the same thing, and then you just realize you are not able to convert, and then you just forced to sell the product in a lower price, and then everyone is doing the same, and then causes a price pool. And that's why if you look at these slides, the liquidation industry in 2020 is actually 644 billion. Well, I tried to look up the data for after 2020, can't find any. So I just look up the biggest industry for liquidation. If you look at it, they are growing each of the year in 2021, 2022, 2023. So you can see the image that you're seeing shows us there's more and more companies have been liquidating their stock over the years, which has enabled liquidation service to increase their annual revenue. Okay, so but why are there many sellers liquidating their inventory? So over the past 8 years or 10 years, Amazon has made tons of policy changes, which introduce a lot of challenges for sellers, vendors who have already been on the platform for a while. Some of these challenges include tackling black hat tactics, competitors attack, account suspension, as well as sales manipulation on gathering reviews using giveaway or search and buy, right? While some of the sellers are able to keep up with these challenges, some were rather unfortunate and ultimately had to close the whole shop. So what can we do about it? Right? We have client launch a evergreen product, one that has potential for a longer product life cycle and helps increase the scalability. That treat Amazon as a sales channel, like Walmart, eBay, they are just a sales channel, but not treating Amazon FBA as in a standalone business model that making us to put all the eggs in one basket. We should all avoid, which is what we should all avoid, right? So if you don't know me yet, I'm Dylan. I've been in the e-commerce space for almost a decade. I am a owner of 7 figures e-commerce store, and thanks to my amazing team, we are finally able to hit 6 figures in sales last 2022. I first started my career as a Facebook and Google media buyer before. So I was like in a job shipping company in the past, and then I transitioned into myself into like running the Amazon store while I was like I started the whole thing in uni, okay, and then like until now, and then I got like into I started from eBay first, and then I was like carrying a bunch of like parcels to the Royal Mail, and then I just posting stuff like one by one, like back in the days, right? And then FBA come, like Amazon FBA just seems like a heaven sent, a God sent that I don't have to do any kind of like packaging, labeling. It's all Amazon, and then everything. I don't have to touch the inventory, right? So in 2017, I founded Omirank, which is started as a PPC agency that serves over like 150 companies from China. Before ultimately we're expanding to all around the country, and now we are transitioning into a full service e-commerce agency. So that's me. Now, you probably ask, a lot of people is probably asking, is it too late to start now? The answer is always no. The good news is, no matter which route you choose, there will be an opportunity for you to make money on e-commerce in the e-commerce industry nowadays. Okay. So let's look at the stat. If you look at the stat, there's 1.5 million active seller back in 2021, and now there's 2.2 million active store in 2023 on Shopify. So the question is, does that mean Amazon is dying? If Amazon is dying, why is the e-commerce growth is actually increasing year by year, right? Amazon is not dying. Amazon selling on Amazon is actually the good model until nowadays. It's just like right now we are forcing those people who are just trying to do white label. Back in the days, just putting a label on a existing product, we're just forcing those people out, and then the new better seller who have the capability, who develop a better product, who are going to be taking over the revenue. Okay, so looking at the data. This data is actually from Forbes advisor, including they're predicting the growth of the e-commerce market from that is going to be hitting $8.1 trillion by 2026, right? And therefore, e-com is just starting. Okay, I can't imagine like if we're in 2030, I bet it's going to be 2 times more than what we are currently having. So there's 5 steps here that I want to talk about. First is about the entire process, choosing business model for the research and development and brand building and product validation. So in step 1, it's all about choosing business model. Before we talk about the business model, I just want to say all things lead to the same place. It's just a way for us to choose the correct business model to start with, and those business model is actually the one that we're going to start first. It's either like capital difference or it's either like a resource difference. But at the end, we all want to own a warehouse. We all want to build a brand. We all want to make a brand exit, right? And that's why no matter which model that we are starting, it's all the same things. We can choose Amazon, we can choose drop shipping, we can choose crowdfunding, we can choose wholesaling, but then they're all about to end up the same place in the future as a goal of launching e-commerce place, as a goal of launching e-commerce brand. So in this presentation, I'm going to focus more on crowdfunding, the benefit advantage of launching a product on crowdfunding, treating crowdfunding as a marketing platform, and then going into Amazon or eBay or Walmart afterward. Okay, and here you see that when it comes to Amazon versus crowdfunding, the starting capital is around 10K for crowdfunding, and then Amazon is like more than 10K because it includes inventories, it includes like the launch, the whole launch process. You have to put in money in the PPC, and then you have to put money in reviews, like finding a search and buy agency, or you have to run it by yourself, or finding employees. And that's why the capital to start is actually quite intense for Amazon. Whereas if you start from crowdfunding, you can minus the Amazon cost on the inventory side, because if you launch on crowdfunding first, you don't have to source the inventory upfront. You are actually sourcing the product after the whole campaign finished. And then the risk involved there is definitely lower than Amazon, because selling on Amazon, you can get suspended like maybe tomorrow, or maybe just like 1 month after your account have created. So there's just so much risk behind to getting a store suspended, right? And that's why that's the reason why we don't want to put all the eggs in one basket. And ROI-wise, when it comes to selling on Amazon, technically, it has to be 6 months or more nowadays compared to the past in order to achieve a return on investment. This is because you are investing in PPC, you're investing in marketing, you're investing in the creative asset as well. And then you probably need to find a few influencers to make a video so you can upload in the related video section. And all in all, for you to make a positive cash flow, it's gonna be after 6 months. Whereas like on crowdfunding, they could be as fast as 3 months because we're using 60 days to launch, to do some preparation, as in pre-launch preparation, launch preparation, and then product preparation. And then we use a month to use those leads that we generated to launch on Kickstarter. And during this 30 days is the time that we are squeezing money from the backers that they would buy into your thesis, who buy into your stories, who wants to support you in your journey. And then of course you will be able to the chances that you can build a brand when starting on crowdfunding, like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, is quite high because in crowdfunding, you are building a brand that everyone sees you. Whereas on Amazon, if people don't know about you, they would just think they just bought it on Amazon, but not your branding. Just like if you ask your customer, where did you get that product from? They won't recognize your name. They will say, "Oh, I got it from Amazon," but not your branding. That's the problem. Okay, so there's also a few added advantage, which is like brand building. And you also get organic traffic from Amazon, and crowdfunding as well. And then of course, like any platform, they require ad spend. Specifically on dropshipping, the ad spend is quite intensive as well because you keep testing until you find the right product. When it comes to dropshipping, even though if you find the right product, you have to keep testing a new one, and then you will eventually suffer fatigue, and then you will suffer high CPM during different stages, whether or not they are seasonal or like festive timing, like there's upcoming U.S. president election in the end of this year, and then for sure the CPM is going to high. That's why dropshipping, there is pros and cons as well. I'm not saying dropshipping is not a good model, but for now, to start dropshipping is definitely harder than before. And knowing that using crowdfunding is a marketing channel to help you launch your Amazon product first, it gives you so much leverage after you have finished a campaign, because those leads that you generated, you can use it for your Amazon launch, where in the past you have to generate lead using SFP to get you reviews. You can already email those leads that you have that have purchased from you on Kickstarter to ask them to reviews on Amazon, and then you can do it by stage. You can say, I would just email the top 1% of the people today, and tomorrow another 5%. So you can slowly control how many reviews you're getting in the stage on Amazon. And then also when launching on crowdfunding first, you have already made your video, you have already made your banner, you have already made your relationship with the influencer, affiliate marketer, and you have already made your email content as well, right? And that's the reason why it gives you so much leverage. Whereas when you are not in Amazon yet, when you started on Amazon, you won't get all those things because you're busy in creating a listing, creating the PPC, and then most probably you will just forget all of the outside traffic things in order to build a true brand. Whereas if you started a campaign on Kickstarter first, you get all those assets, you get all those assets, and then you get all those like complementary kind of like resources, and that makes your Amazon journey or platform journey so much easier, whether or not it's Amazon, Walmart, or Etsy, right? So that's that. When it comes to the business model, where you should choose first, okay, you can just start it. You can just continue to just launch on crowdfunding, or you can just launch on crowdfunding first and then go on to Amazon afterward. So which one is suitable for you? Okay, we can see that we are focusing on Amazon and crowdfunding right now. For dropshipping, again, I don't want to put too much comment there because dropshipping is not that for sure. But then for you to find the right product is something that is harder than before because everyone is starting with a low budget, and then everyone is expecting that they can make a lot of money, and that's why it's quite saturated already. Okay, which one? But which one did you go? So our general guidance is there's like if you have a audience size from your email list or from your blog post, or if you're in the retail, you got like quite a big audience size that they are either a loyal follower or Arvig, like a prospect that who wants to buy into your product, then those, the bigger they are, the higher chance that you succeed on crowdfunding is going to be easier, right? And then also it depends on your degree of the product differentiation. I will talk about the differentiation later on, but then the higher the differentiation, then the higher the success factors that you're going to be succeed in crowdfunding. So take this product as an example. So it's basically a silicone tray by brand called Prep. The product was backed by 27K people, and it got like $2.2 million in funding. Aside from creating a product that solved a challenge of a meal prepping, what also contributed to the success of their campaign is their history as a brand, having launched multiple product already before. The more campaign or product you have launched, the easier it will get. The easier you will guess for your future campaign because you have already built an email list and following, and you got like more followers for your brand. And if you think about it, of these people are now helping you to build your snowball by supporting your brand because you have created a loyal follower. So let's look at this product. This is a product, another product called kitchenware. They got the inspiration from the Prep silicone tray. The only difference between the two products was that kitchenware launched a silicone tray with handles. The project was backed by almost 2.4K people and have generated more than 100K in US dollar in funding. Some of you might say that is not really much compared to the first product that I just showed you, the 2 million versus 100K. But taking into consideration that Prep had launched multiple products before and it's the first product that kitchen launched, they still got quite a decent amount of funding to get things rolling. And most importantly, they get all the assets to build a brand like email list, marketing video, marketing material like banner and story. Additionally, they also know where they can look for external traffic in the future when they launch that product on Amazon. Which if you start on Amazon first, it will take time for you to get all those assets. Or worst case, your external traffic won't convert because you don't know if you have the right product, right? So the minimal changes that kitchenware did with their product still got them thousands of supporters and a total 6 figures in funding. The moral of the story is having one additional feature is enough to differentiate, and that's why you can put it on Kickstarter. Okay, next scenario would be Baking Steel. So Baking Steel launched this product on Kickstarter. Is actually a oven baking stone. Okay, so it can circulate the heat for your food, and it can heat up faster. That's the essence of the product. And it only got like close to 500 backers and 40K in funding. It was fully funded but they weren't able to maximize the brand potential because they lack one important thing. They don't have a compelling story. So, Myson is another baking steel product. They launched the baking stone product a few years later than baking steel. Okay, so Myson had a story to tell. They did it really well. They used creative storytelling. They were able to create a narrative for the brand that resonated with thousands of the backers and resulted in $1.7 million in funding. Of course, that's not all. They have launched several campaigns in the past as well, and that's why they have a huge email list from the past to leverage. So some people might ask, what if they don't have one? If you don't have one, you should start as soon as possible. Or using a post-purchase funnel to run a pre-launch campaign to generate more lead if you are selling on Amazon right now. So email list is where the cash gonna be. So you always want to focus on the email list. So it's all about like making a product that can differentiate. You can either focus on the color, the shape, the material, the function, maybe the variant. There's a lot of things that we can do when it comes to doing the product differentiation, and this is where we excel in our company. That we help people develop product, and then we help them to put it on Kickstarter or just launch straight on Amazon. Okay. So let's talk about product development. This is literally one of the most challenging things that every seller would have to deal with, because without an interesting product, their business is bound to fail from day one. Finding a product is easy, yes. Any product on Alibaba or 1688, they are just there. You can just say, oh, that's interesting, I will just go for it. But no, I mean, if you do that, a few months later, your product is going to be copied by other people. So in order for you to stand out on Amazon, on any other marketplace for that matter, you must either find or create a product that offer a certain level of differentiation, setting it apart from the competitors. So how do we do it? What's the process on us differentiating the product? At first, we were just thinking by ourselves, like brainstorming. That's the mistake that you don't want to do. Because if you think something that is new that you could add into the product, but there's no end demand, you're just wasting your time and money to create the molding, to create the time when you talk to the manufacturer. So the way that we do it is we use the Creator Marketplace, we use Meta Ad Transparency, we use Google Ad Transparency Center, and then Facebook Ad Library, and then Hidden Pen to find the keyword gap in order to find out what is the potential products that we can go for. So, so to find the market disruptor, this is something that we have been using back in 2016 already. So we compare keywords with all the top competitor ASINs, and then we will find out each of the competitors how much keyword that they're ranking, and then what are the percentage of the keyword from this seller that is holding the C keyword in that subcategory. And then eventually we'll get the weighted average, and then we will use that weighted average to determine whether or not the level of the difficulties to launch in this market, because you can understand, oh, looks like there's only 44% keyword is being ranked on average. And that's why when you go into this subcategory, you know that, okay, I'll just rank the other 66% first for those three keywords, and then hopefully that I can get more organic traffic from there. And then you can start considering ranking those keywords that's being ranked by the other competitors. And that is actually the method that we've been using when it comes to the keyword gap. So, um, if you understand, if you remember that I actually come from the job shipping industry in the past before I come into eBay. So I was doing job shipping back in 2014 for almost like 3 to 4 years, and then I concluded that like to get a product to go viral, you know, we have to make sure that first we want to make sure that the product can easily produce video that can go viral, essentially give us more creative angle and message to work with. Second is how easy is it to upsell in terms of the bundle and product variants in order for us to increase the AOV, the average order value. No. And third is if it has an unsaturated market. Again, this ties with our keyword gap research as well. And how easy is it for the influencer to create content since they need that for social proof? And lastly, is a good production, sorry, it's a good production of the quality. This will affect the customer return rate in the long run. There's a lot of factors that we concluded in the template. We do not aim to achieve every single thing in our template, but we aim to achieve at least 65% of the metrics that we're doing. Yeah, we have that template to share at the end of the presentation. So let's just keep going. So our product development process, our product research and development process essentially resolve around the concept of identifying keyword gap, addressing them by modifying the current bestseller, and creating the new market disruptor. This is our secret to launch product with longer life cycle that are both highly profitable and scalable, and that's why they are future-proof product. A great example would be Ringo. Ringo is a MagSafe bottle which initially launched on Kickstarter because it addressed a market gap by acting a MagSafe compatible phone stand and a water bottle, while also having the feature you would expect from a high quality water bottle. It was such an easy product to support for a lot of people. This led to the project having 3.8K backers that generated around 300K in funding. All of this showed that deliberate product design choices can pivot in market for the next best-selling product. Aside from the keyword gap, you also need to look out for marketing gaps by considering other demographic. What I mean by this is either coming up with a line of products that are more accessible or less expensive than your flagship one. So what we help our client do is we don't just help them to produce a Kickstarter product that is like a premium product. We also advise them to come up with a different kind of product that is a lower end quality. So your Amazon margin is going to be make sense. Otherwise, you can't compete such a high price on Amazon. An example would be Grapple. Grapple is actually a very successful campaign that they have a 8K backers and almost 700K in funding. Despite this number, however, the sales on Amazon simply could not deal with their competitors due to the fact that market is more of a premium product, and on Amazon, when you are playing with the A9 algorithms, they are more about BSL, and sales volume, right? And that's why what we help them to do is we help them to develop a additional product that still will be able to dominate the market for them to generate the email list and continue the business when it comes to e-commerce. So the premium product we advise them to do is just sell on Amazon, whereas on Shopify, right? And then whereas on Amazon, we help them to differentiate, identify what are the difference what the gap in the market. And then we find out, okay, woman product storage bag is actually a gap. So we ask them, hey, what with your same manufacturer, go for the same, almost the same product, and then just go for another color, since you have email list on your hand already from Kickstarter, you can just email them. If they have a wife, you can just go buy the lady version of the toiletry bag on Amazon, and they don't have to use a name. They can just use it. They can just use another third-party name to act as the brand to say, hey, you can buy now with this coupon code. Okay, so that's how we are able to help them to do the product research. And when it comes to product validation, there's a 3-step validation model that we are helping them to do normally. The 3-step is consists with product viability, product life viability, which is using a data validation, and then we run ad to find out whether or not there's engagement on the Facebook ad, and then we do prospecting to find their audience, whether or not the audience will be acceptance to the product. If we find out like travel niche is the one, then we will expand to work from home niche, or maybe a travel niche, right? So that's the mean by prospecting. We use data from first step and to do the validation on keyword. Second step for engagement. First step for prospecting for more customer that we can scale when we run a pre-launch campaign in the future by using CBO. Okay, so that's the sorry, Seth, am I like too much? Am I running out of time?
What would you be researching? What the company Oh yes.
Hey, Dylan, we have 5 more minutes, okay? And then we have to move to our next
Okay.
speaker.
Okay.
Thanks.
So okay, I will just skip the brand building part maybe, but then okay. So we'll just continue here. So here's the one of the campaign that we are doing currently with our client. We set up something like this. The first touch point will be a Facebook ad, which would then direct user to a landing page where their email will be collected before finally being redirected to Facebook group, where they will receive a reward for joining the Facebook group, and then they will receive a additional update in the Facebook group. So this may look like a lot of steps, but it has definitely saved me thousands of dollars by not spending capital on product that I'm going to sell. Because if you find a product and invest 20K to just buy inventory and launch a product, and that would just end up, didn't?
Hey Dylan, you're not showing the page that you were talking about just now. It's showing
Am
a
I
different screen right now. No,
What screen am I showing?
you are showing the topic screen right now.
Am I still showing on the topic screen?
Yeah,
the whole time?
I believe so. It has been on the topic screen. Yes.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Wait. Okay. Let me see. How about now? Am I showing my whole screen right now?
You
Is it
are on
moving?
the, yes, it is moving.
Oh my God. Okay. I just restarted the whole thing. Okay, anyway. So this is the 3-step validation that I'm talking about. We use data gathering to do you know, but anyway, we'll just continue. This is the part that I'm talking about. It seems there's no steps. We help Sarah to prepare the Facebook ad, landing page, Facebook group page, and then to help them to do the lead generation. And that's what we talk about. It's like a normal way to do a pre-launch to generate leads, so we can squeeze all the sales on the first day. So the Kickstarter algorithms will pick up, and therefore they will put you in the top spot in their page, and that's why you will get organic traffic. And that's the purpose of like doing a lot of lead gen the whole time. Okay, so we have this brand development. I don't think we will be able to cover that, but it's all about finding your persona, finding your demographic, finding your brand's architect, and those is going to be helping you to create a better storytelling and make yourself a unique selling point to stand out from the crowd. So once you have that branding, then you can, once you have that branding, then you can use it for Kickstarter asset, from the banner to the story that you're telling. And then eventually, when you finish the whole Kickstarter campaign, your product images is ready, your listing video is ready, your carousel for Facebook is ready, your EDC is ready, your storefront graphic is already, because they have been with them, that you have done it already on Kickstarter. You don't have to redo it again. Okay, so now let's move on to product launch. So product launch, if you recognize earlier on, I showed you the funnel page. The funnel page tells you that there's different steps that you can go for, and customer. I mean, in 2004, being omnichannel is very important. You can see that the world social commerce sales is increasing. That is not part of the 8.1 trillion that I showed you earlier on. This is actually from social media. So from social media, in 2016, it's 2.9 billion in sales. So I doubt this is accurate, because if you look at TikTok Shop right now, I guess they are going to be dominating the market in the future, and they will be able to capture the e-commerce sales to become more of like social commerce sales. So quote me on it in the future. I think that will be much more higher, and that's why like one-page funnel is what our agency preach. We help people to develop one-page funnel because that funnel is being used for Kickstarter. If you launch a Kickstarter already, then you will get the one-page funnel easily. But if you did not launch a Kickstarter campaign, that you don't have one-page funnel, you can still develop one to launch a new product, to maintain the product ranking, or to relaunch the old product. So it's simply toggle on, toggle off in different stage of your listing. You can just toggle on if your ranking is decreased. You can just toggle off if you're already out of stock. You can toggle on if you feel like that your campaign need to relaunch again, need to send more signal to the A9 algorithms, and that's why you can just toggle on. And those one-page funnel is either sending people to Kickstarter, sending people to Amazon by using a article format like a native ad, or it could be just like a coupon redemption from your landing page, and so they can just come to your page. The essence of that is like a squeeze page to educate people what is your product about and what's the benefit of like buying it, and then give them a call to action, and then they will just buy it from your Amazon sales. And that's the reason why we're doing one-page funnel. So one-page funnel first website. We don't do website. We won't advise a client to do website if you are less than 6 figures, because doing website, it can take up to 8 to 12 weeks. It costly to start and maintain as well. You have to update the blog, you have to update the SEO, and then it's also a lot of technical requirements. Whereas a one-page funnel is quite straightforward as well for you to maintain in the future. And one-page funnel, you can use it in different time, different stage, like what I just said on the launch or maintain or relaunching a product. So that's pretty much. To find us, so our agency is more of like a full service agency right now since 2019. We help people to run PPC. One of the strengths that our company is we help you launch PPC plus external traffics together to help you to rank your product. And that's what the Chinese seller is gearing toward as well, because in the past they're just thinking about the black hat tactic, but then right now the store getting shut down, and that's why they have to find a new solution. And then turns out that this is the new solution for them. So if you want to do something like that as well, you can come to us. If you want to us to just help you to launch a Kickstarter campaign, to help you just run the PPC campaign as well, feel free to reach out to us. You can scan the QR code. In the QR code, there is a ultimate Amazon cheat sheet as well on how you should launch your product in 2014. There's like it's jam every information. And if you want to talk to me, you can go to LinkedIn. I'm gonna send a link to Dylan. So Dylan can just if you can help me to post it in the chat, that would be great.
Perfect.
So that's pretty much. Anything?
I think that was really good, Dylan. So thank you so much for sharing. Sorry about the slide issue. I'm not sure why that wasn't advancing. As you
Yeah,
were
sorry
going
about
through
that.
them, it made sense to me that you were going topic by topic, but I guess you had more supporting slides. Looks like Dylan already put the link right there into the chat so people can download that cheat sheet. And then, like you said, find Dylan Lamb on LinkedIn. Dylan, thanks so much for sharing, man. We'll have to have you back on for another round in the future where you can actually go through slide by slide and show off everything that you have. Okay. All right. So, Dylan, thank you so much. Let's move on to double Scott Walker. we have Scott and Devin. Let's see here. We'll get you guys all mic'd up. Boom. Let's see here. We're running a little bit behind, but that's okay. So, guys, let's see here. Dylan just posted the LinkedIn for Dylan if you want to reach out to him, talk about your the Amazon cheat sheet that he's sharing with everyone. Oh, look at this. We have both of them in one studio today, guys. Those are some cool guitars.
Thank you, Seth.
How's it going, guys?
Sorry, but he wouldn't do it. I know he wanted a guitar solo. Maybe next time.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. So, guys, Scott, I've known him for quite some time now. Has grown an amazing business. Devin and Scott have done a lot of cool things in the Amazon space, grown amazing businesses, developed products themselves, done a lot of really cool things. Actually, they've invented an entire little industry, which is really cool with one of their products. So that's really cool. And they have learned a bunch along the way. So, guys, I'm excited to see what you're sharing with us all. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you and let you go through what you plan to share.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Seth. I want to check really quick. Is audio good for everybody? We can hear everything solid.
You are good to go.
Awesome. We got a bonus border collie in the background who'll be hanging out, I guess. Hi, Murphy. Hey, guy. And then other thing I want to check before we dive in real quick. Are we seeing this the correct direction? Are we reading perfect ROAS left to right, not backwards?
It's mirrored.
Oh, it is mirrored. Okay. Well, I can fix that very, very easily. Let's go like this. How about now?
It is good now.
Awesome. Cool. Well, so as Seth mentioned, Scott and I have been in the Amazon realm for a long time, building our own brands. In addition to selling our own products, we own Perfect ROAS. I'm the co-founder and CEO. Scott is my valiant co-founder. And we help Amazon sellers with one-on-one PPC coaching. So we spend a lot of time in this space teaching PPC techniques, doing PPC in our own businesses. So we're super excited. Just at the end of last year, we launched this brand to come together and help Amazon sellers. So of course, we're going to talk about PPC today, Amazon ads. But before I go and give you a bunch of advice on how to spend your money, I think it's worth giving a couple of reasons on why you should listen to what I have to say, because there's a lot of PPC advice out on the internet and not all of it's worth listening to. So between Scott and I, we have sold over $50 million in our own e-commerce sales. We've had products featured on major national TV like ABC and CBS. We've had products in multiple publications, and we've even had the occasional celebrity shout out without even asking for it. You'll find as we go through this slideshow that I'm better at Amazon ads than I am at building Google slides. So forgive me for the simplistic approach. But yeah, all that stuff I mentioned just now would not have been possible without Amazon PPC. That was the foundation of all of it. Scott and I are huge spreadsheet nerds. It's what we love. And so it's what we spent a lot of time building. So today we're going to talk about a couple of different things to help you, improve your PPC performance. Hopefully you come away with this with a lot of actionable stuff. I've got some free goodies for you throughout this presentation. There'll be QR codes and links and stuff. You can go and grab some tools. So we're going to talk about rethinking ACOS as a North Star metric. Scott's then going to talk about how we structure our 7-figure PPC accounts. Scott's going to follow that up with a little bit of an expansion on that with our favorite hack that we call placement splitting. And after that, I'm going to come back around and explain a bit about why most people adjust their bids the wrong way. Okay, let's dive in. So what is ACoS? For those of you who are not familiar, ACoS is your ad spend divided by your sale price. In other terms, if you sell something for 20, or if you sell a $100 thing and it cost you $20 in ads to sell it, your ACoS was 20%. Simple enough. But ACoS, people tend to use it as this North Star, this thing to guide them through managing and optimizing their ads and their spend. You know, they might set a target ACoS for their whole account, say, hey, 30% ACoS is a great number for me. It makes me smile and I can sleep at night with that number. But that's problematic because it's a leading metric and it doesn't tell the whole story. So the graph you're looking at right now is intentionally plain. At some point in this graph, we came in and started implementing our techniques on an account. And in the period before that to the period after, we improved their take-home profit by 54%. And if you said you could point on this graph to where that was based on this ACoS and sales line, ACoS is purple, sales is yellow, I would actually call you a liar because it's not very obvious, but it was right about there. So what's the point of me showing you this? Well, it's that in this case, lowering the ACoS on the account wasn't actually the thing to do. But a lot of people like to fixate on, hey, we just need to lower our ACoS and then we'll have more profit. Not always true. So what did we do? What did we do to achieve a 54% increase in take-home profit from period A to period B? Well, we focused on the right metrics, which happened to be margin by product. And then we set budgets based on that product profitability. And we took an overall more organized approach to help us do that. So we didn't actually lower the ACoS that much. It did come down a bit, but again, lowering the ACoS would have been most people's first instinct there in our experience, and it's not what they needed. But I don't want to hear you that lowering your ACoS is bad. Sometimes lowering the ACoS is the answer. Case in point, if you could point on this graph where we came in and started making changes, well, I'd be concerned if you couldn't, but in case you needed a hint, it's right there. So this was a much higher volume account, and their ACoS had just crept up and up and up. They had worked with like a mishmash of third-party agencies. They'd try some different tools, and their account was just kind of a cluttered mess that had creeped out of control. So they needed a turnaround. Yeah, so that's not all to say that lowering your ACoS is never the answer, but focusing on ACoS as a North Star metric, fixating on it and setting it at this kind of arbitrary, sometimes very emotional account level is not necessarily the best path forward. So what do we do with this information? Well, you know your break-even ACoS by product, and then you use it to make advertising decisions. And Amazon has actually made this pretty easy for us to do with the new products view in the Seller Central Advertising Manager. If you haven't checked this view out, it's really, really useful. So you can come in here and look at the actual ACoS by product of everything in your account, and then go in and dive in and see what campaigns are contributing to this, what ad groups, what keywords, etc. But you may not know your break-even ACoS by product to be able to do this. Fret not, I have a tool for you. So I'm going to leave this on screen for a minute as I hand this out to Scott, or you can just go to tinyurl.com/ACoS sheet. And what you're going to get there is a Google Sheet where you can simply fill in your SKU, your ASIN product name, your cost of goods, your fees, and then it'll spit out your break-even ACoS for you. And then you, as a pleasant side effect, have all of those things together in one place, which more sellers than you'd think don't have those things all together in one place, that you can constantly refer back to as you're going and making advertising decisions in the future. And hint, hint, having all that information in one place is also extremely useful for implementing some of the other techniques that Scott's going to talk about right now. So scan that QR code or grab that URL, tinyurl.com/ACoS sheet, and I'm going to hand it off to Scott. Excuse the mic noise as I nudge this over towards Scott.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. Hey, Dylan or Seth. I just want to check in after the last meeting. Make sure, like, did the QR code look good? Can you hear us okay? Do I have any like spinach in my teeth or something?
You're good. Get it.
So
You're good.
I started selling on the internet and on Amazon in 2011. So possibly before Seth and Sean. uh, not selling, period. I know Sean sold roses when he was like 17 or something, but I've been doing this a long time. And when I started, I had a competitive advantage because I had done several internships learning how to do Google Ads extremely well. And so I was able to launch a product that was really actually kind of the same as some of the other products on the market and sell more than my competition because I understood this stuff really well. And so I want to give back today and share some of those techniques that worked back then, and they work really well on Amazon ads today. So Amazon ads today looks a lot like Google ads did 13 years ago. Google ads today looks nothing like it did 13 years ago. Don't try this on Google, but this stuff works extremely well right now on Amazon, and it's how we run our multi-million-dollar brands currently. So I'm going to talk about these 3 types of campaigns that I recommend you start with. So the first one are auto campaigns. This is super simple. I recommend bidding super low on these, especially to start out. So you'll notice like 26 cents bids. The compliments one in this particular ad group doesn't actually have any spend. So that bid is high, but it's not actually spending any money. So the point is, this is what your auto campaign will look like when you have it set up. And very importantly, I recommend having only one of these per product. So if you put all your products in one campaign, or even like multiple variations of one product in your campaign, then you won't get all of the data. So Amazon mingles a lot of your data together, but at the campaign level, you're able to see a lot of really important detailed information. And so if you only put one product in each of these auto campaigns, then you'll be able to see all of that data that would all be kind of commingled together. So you'll be able to see your search term data using the search term report by product if you organize your campaigns that way. And I recommend doing that with all of your campaigns. None of your campaigns should have more than one product sold or advertised in it. So the next thing I would do is, as it says in the slide, protect your turf. So there's these 3 main different types of campaigns in Amazon ads. There's sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. And I recommend creating one of each of those that targets your own brand names, your own product names, your own ASINs, and have multiple of those, one for each product, for each of these different kinds of ads that show in different places on Amazon and off Amazon. And protecting your turf like this will be the highest bang for your buck, the smallest amount of money that will get you the most amount of sales. It makes sense that if people are searching for your thing and landing on your products, that they would want to buy other of your products. Or if they're searching for your thing, then they would want to buy your thing, right? So you want to be showing up for that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the difference between broad, phrase, and exact match. So with keyword targeting in Amazon, and this is all in very broad strokes, get it? Broad. So broad keywords are essentially, you tell Amazon, let's say the word troll dolls, and Amazon can show your ad wherever they want. So I'm going to talk specifically about sponsored products right now. Sponsored product ads are probably going to be about 80% of your ad spend. The high volume accounts that we manage, that's how it shakes out. So on sponsored product ads with keyword targeting in broad, if you were bidding on the term troll dolls, Amazon can show your ad, and you can look at this in the search term report for terms like Barbie dolls with trolls, or Trolls the movie, things that are completely unrelated to the thing that you're selling. They can also show it to related things, and they're incentivized to do so, but there's going to be a lot of wasted spend. So what I recommend is bidding in broad on your high value traffic targets. So the things that are the very most closely related to your product, the things that are driving the most sales for your business, like the top 10 or 20 keywords that are driving 80% of the sales on your account. And then I also recommend bidding on those things in phrase and broad. So phrase will show up for things like red troll dolls or troll dolls for boys. So it has to have the term troll dolls in it. And then exact terms is just what it sounds like. Amazon fudges that a little. They might do troll doll instead of troll dolls, but it's pretty specifically that term. And so by bidding in phrase and exact on those terms, you'll be able to, over time, harvest the things that are working from your broad campaigns and move them over and start bidding on them in exact. So as you do this some more and more with your auto campaigns, your broad, phrase, and exact running, you'll be able to move over what's working into exact and bid more and more specifically on the stuff that's working. So the main point of all of this is that you want to be showing your ad only to the people who are actually going to buy your thing. So in a perfect world, every time you showed your ad, someone would click on it, and every time someone clicked on it, someone would buy it. And in an imperfect world, which we live in, we're just trying to maximize as much as possible to make that as close to true as possible. And so a lot of the time, you'll be showing up in places that you don't make any money at all. Like I ran a campaign once where we were accidentally spending thousands of dollars on traffic in Singapore where we don't even sell. So that was a Bing ad that I just didn't check often enough. So what we want to do is be able to look at the data in a very refined way so that we can tell exactly where our ads are showing up and make sure that we're only spending money in the places where people are buying our product and we're making money, because that is the goal, is to make money in the end. And so the next part here is what we call the placement splitting hack. And it is taking that to the next level. So you already, for all of your high volume traffic terms, you already have one campaign for broad, one for phrase, and one for exact. And now we're going to take that and put it on speed. So in a sponsored product ad, there are 3 different placements. And those are top of search, rest of search, and product page. And I want to show you what that means. And so a top of search ad looks like this. So where that red arrow is pointing to those spatulas, that's what a top of search ad looks like. And then a product page ad looks like where the second red arrow is. And a rest of search ad could look like that, where it's in lower down in the search results, but Amazon sneaks in a bunch of crappy inventory in this ad type as well, or in this placement type. So you could be showing up on Pinterest or Twitch or IMDb. There's lots of places on the internet that Amazon has like relationships with or they own. And so rest of search is really their like dump for everything else. But the point is that the way that almost everybody I've ever met bids on sponsored product ads is either they have no preference at all for any of these placement types in their bidding, or they've picked some arbitrary value that they put, or maybe they put a lot of thought into it, but they put a value to increase their bids a little bit for top of search. You know, maybe it's up 50% or 30%, something like that. The problem with doing it that way is that every search term is different, and your performance on each search term is different. So maybe in rest of search, the term troll dolls would do really well, but it doesn't do well on the product page placement. And so what we do is we have a separate campaign for each of these placement types. So we have 9 different campaigns for each. We have 9 different campaigns. One that's an exact for top of search, one that's an exact for product page, and one that's an exact for rest of search.
And that's per product, right?
And per product, right? So you're getting that it's a lot of different campaigns. And we do that because it's the only way to get the data where we can tell how each of those placements are performing so that we can make the most money possible from each of those placement types. So the way that this all shakes out usually is that we're bidding less than we should on top of search, and we're bidding more than we should on product page and rest of search. And so what this allows us to do is spend more money on top of search and grow our sales that way, grow our volume at the same ACoS that we were hitting before, and grab a smaller amount of sales that are now profitable for product page and rest of search, because we're bidding less on those things than we were before. And so the end result is that you can be spending the same amount as your competitors are on ads, but you're making a whole lot more money than them. And there's this very famous concept in digital advertising that the person who can spend the most on a click will win, because if you can show up more, if you can make more money per click than all of your competition, then you're always going to show up first. You're always going to get all the volume. And so this is a way to do that without with that. If you had exactly the same product as your competitor, exactly the same reviews, same conversion rate, if you were to employ these skills or this structure in your business, then you would show up first for ads because they're spending a ton of money on all of these different like placements that they're not making money on, and so they can't afford to to spend as much as you are.
So what's the actual mechanism for accomplishing this?
Great question, Devin. So once you have each of those campaigns created and designated for this purpose, there is a setting in your campaign, and it's only at the campaign level, where you can increase the amount or the percentage bid that that you it's called like bid adjustment multiplier or something like that.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we increase our bids by 400% for the placement we want to target. So we have one campaign with a 400% increase for top of search, one for product page, and one for rest of search, 3 separate campaigns. And so our bid that we've set, let's say it's 25 cents, our real bid is like $1.25, because we're only going to be showing up for the thing that's getting multiplied and not for the things that are much lower. So you're probably not going to show up bidding 25 cents, but you will show up for $1.25. And so in that way, you segment that top search traffic into its own campaign, and so on and so forth. So, and now Devin is going to talk about why we do this and about how we choose to bid, how we optimize our bid in the best way so that we make the most money.
Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate the detailed explanation on that. That's that concept is kind of can turn your brain into spaghetti a little bit when you first try to wrap your head around it. So if you need to come back and watch the replay to parse through how to accomplish that, don't worry. It confuses everybody at first. So let's talk about bids. And specifically this question: is your bid management broken? Because I go to a lot of events, masterminds, live shows, these kinds of calls, and I often hear people talking about this concept of click thresholds, using a certain number of clicks to decide if you have enough data to make a bid up or bid down decision. And if you're doing that, then yes, your bidding is broken, and lots of people do. So don't feel ashamed. This is actually a super standard kind of industry thing. A lot of people talk about doing it this way, but I'm going to disprove this method in just a minute. So if you come to this kind of thing often, or you've been to the big conventions and stuff, you may have heard someone say something like this quote here: if I see that I have more than 10 clicks, I have enough data to make a decision. So then I look at my ACOS against my target ACOS and adjust that way. Or if I haven't made a sale yet, but I have 10 clicks or more, I just lower my bid. And that on the surface sort of sounds good. It sounds easy, it sounds reliable, it sounds consistent, but it is not. And I will show you why. So once my slide decides to change for me here. All right, consider this data. This is a similar scenario to what I just described a minute ago. And this is the kind of data that a click threshold based bidding system would be looking at. So we have 2 products here. We have product A and product B. Product A has 10 clicks, $1 CPC. Therefore, we spent $10. We've made 0 sales, so we don't know our ACOS. And we're aiming for an ACOS of 20%. Product B, as you can see, has the exact same stats. But I'm going to say that the correct decision is to lower the bid for product A, but leave product B alone. And I know when I say that right now, I sound like kind of a crazy person. But that is what a click threshold based system would actually decide. A click threshold based decision would actually lower both. But the correct decision is what I just described, and I'll prove that in just a minute. Sorry, we had a little tech thing on the side there. So again, we're going to lower product A and leave product B alone, even though a click threshold based system would have both be lowered in this situation. Well, let me show you why this works. Because there is data that is not being considered by a click threshold based system, and that is your AOV. And for those of you not familiar with all the acronyms I'm throwing around today, that's average order value, or your average selling price. So this is how much a customer is actually paying for the product. And I hope now that I've revealed this, that it's beginning to make sense to you why A is bid down and B is hold. So in this situation, product A sells for $20, but we've already spent $10 on ads. We're targeting an ACOS of 20%. So even if we made a sale right now, we would still be way over that target, right? If we spent another $1, we would be at over a 50% ACOS. That's bad. We don't want that in this situation. But product B is a little bit of a different story. Product B sells for $100, and we decided that we want to make sales at around a 20% ACOS. Well, we've only spent $10. We've met the 10 click threshold, but we're only halfway to our ACOS target. So adjusting our bid right now to lower it doesn't make any sense. By doing that, by following a blind click threshold based bidding system, like many people do who use bulk sheets to manage their bids, or even go in and manage their bids manually, you might be filtering for that, are missing out on another 10 clicks before you actually blow that target ACOS number. So what's the solution? The solution is a spend threshold. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some examples of how a spend threshold would behave, but I basically just described it just now. So instead of looking at 10 clicks, I'm going to look at my target ACOS relative to my selling price. So, and then make some decision on threshold from there. So in this case, I've got a $100 product and I'm aiming to spend about $20 to make a sale. So I might then decide, hey, if I've spent $15 and no sales, that's getting close enough to my target ACOS that I'm concerned that I won't get there. And so I'm going to bid down. That's kind of a to taste sort of thing. And you experiment with that threshold number. But importantly, using a spend threshold instead of a click threshold enables you to not worry about what your AOV is with relation to clicks accidentally neutering your more expensive products. That's basically how it shakes out. So here's how we actually would apply this. I'm just going to run through these examples and explain why A is bid down, B is wait, C is bid up. So if we're using a spend threshold, let's look at product A here. We have a target ACOS of 10%, $100 AOV. That means we can spend, let's assume we're going to do the whole target ACOS as our spend threshold. We can spend $10. In this case, we've spent $15 with no sales. Easy choice, we're lowering the bid. Product B, we're going to hold because we have a target ACOS of 25%. And we've spent only $10. So we are not quite there yet on reaching the $12.50 spend threshold here. And product C, we actually have a unique situation where it's performing super, super well compared to our spend threshold. So we'll raise the bid up. You see we have a $250 average order value, a 30% target ACOS. We've only spent $25, which is 3 times less than 30% of 25. Therefore, because we've made a sale at this super good ACOS, we're actually going to raise the bid up, try to get some more volume for that high value term. Okay, that was a bunch of math. I'm sorry that I just read a spreadsheet to you, but I think it's important to illustrate how the spend threshold, as opposed to a clicks threshold, behaves more consistently. And if you're wondering, okay, cool, that sounds like kind of a nice thing to do, but I don't have all this data. Well, if you go back to the beginning and you grab my ACOS sheet, you'll have the beginnings of actually establishing that number. See, once you have your break-even ACOS from that sheet, then it's just a matter of deciding how much leeway do you want to give in setting a spend threshold. If you know that your break-even ACOS is 60%, you can then just pick a number under that to be your spend threshold, and you're good to go. And of course, in real life, we're applying this algorithmically with a tool, with a script that we've built. But you could absolutely just write this into a Google Sheets formula or an Excel formula and be good to go. So we've given you a lot of homework. You're going to go gather some cost of goods sold data and some fees, enter all your SKUs and your ASINs to figure out your break-even ACOS. Then you're going to have to go and make 3 campaigns for every single one of your SKUs, and then auto campaigns, and then defensive campaigns. And then you're going to split those 3 campaigns you made into 9 if you want to do the placement splitting. And then you're going to write a formula for managing your bids. And understandably, a lot of you might be a little bit overwhelmed at that prospect, thinking, that all sounds great, but I'm not sure that I have the spreadsheet confidence or the know-how or the time to actually implement and figure this all out on my own. Well, I have good news for you. I have a special offer that is exclusive to Post-Purchase Pro folks that I want to take a second to talk about now, because I think that this is pretty cool. So as I mentioned briefly in the beginning, the way that Scott and I, besides actually selling stuff, make our money in the PPC side, the way that we monetize our Amazon knowledge is usually one-on-one coaching, where we take a client through a 3-month program and we, talk about all these techniques and more. We give them all the tools, everything we use in our multi-7-figure brands to do this. And the price for that is $15,000. But, and they get all this stuff, the stuff that I talked about, it's the keyword harvester. I guess we didn't mention that, but yeah, we have a thing that makes keyword pulling really super easy for those high value target campaigns. We also can automate the campaign creation process. We've got a bid updating tool that does the thing I just talked about, detailed lessons on all this stuff. It's all one-on-one, account profitability calculator, and one-on-one guidance. But that's probably not right for you. And honestly, even if it was, there's too many of you for me to actually help everyone that way. So in thinking about this, we decided to put something together kind of cool. And I locked myself in my office all weekend, and I turned what is usually a live mentorship where I don't have recordings of this stuff. I actually work with people in their account, in the trenches. I turned it into a group experience by basically converting all those one-on-one lessons into a course format. And this group experience includes all of the techniques we talked about today and more. Literally everything you need to know to scale a PPC account to multiple 7 figures, plus every single tool that we've made that we use every day in our own 7-figure brands, which remove a huge amount of the actual manual work to make this all easy and much more approachable. So as I mentioned, it's the same stuff. It's the keyword harvester, campaign creation automator, bid access, bid updater, detailed lessons on everything we talked about today and way more, full account profitability calculator. The only thing you're trading is the one-on-one guidance for weekly group AMA calls. So you're still getting that access, just in a group setting.
What's an AMA?
Oh, ask me anything. Come on and ask questions. We'll have a casual Zoom chat. We'll workshop it. And honestly, I could easily sell that for $5,000. And the only way that you wouldn't immediately ROI would be if you literally were not an Amazon seller. That's how much value we've packed into this. But that's not my offer to you. I want to do it differently. It's only $350 a month for access to all these tools, detailed instruction on everything we talked about today with a little bit more polished presentation, screen recordings, all of that, $350 a month. And I'm going to structure it and drip it out exactly the same way that we do for our 7-figure coaching clients. So it's not going to be a big info dump right at the beginning. There's going to be week by week material that you'll work through. We'll come together as a group and talk about that process. And then at the end of the 3 months, we'll continue to deliver value. So if you want to stay on, keep paying the monthly cost, I'm going to make sure that it, is worth your money till the end of time to come in, get together with a group, talk about this stuff, and I'll have, plenty of assignments and lessons in perpetuity. So if you want to go ahead and have that same 7-figure coaching experience, just in a group setting, go ahead, scan that QR code or tinyurl.com/perfectroas. Make sure to get the dash in there. That's /perfectroas. And sign up. We would love to get to know you and share this stuff with you. And yeah, thanks so much for having us on, y'all. We're super excited to come and share this stuff with you. So yeah, by the way, if anyone has any questions about this or just wanted clarification, feel free to shoot me a personal email. It's devin@perfectroas.com. I'm going to be super responsive for the next 7 days or so in that inbox. Just as a thank you to Seth and Sean for having us on today. I want to make sure I can answer any community questions as they come up. But yeah, so that's literally my direct real email. Hit me up, join the thing if you want to do it. And yeah, thanks a lot.
To take a leaf out of Seth and Sean's book, could you all just put in the chat if you learned something today, or if you received anything valuable, if you feel like I'm going to go change something about my Amazon ads today.
Yeah.
Just drop that in the chat real quick. And Seth or Dylan, if you want to read some of those, if they're coming in. Our goal today was to provide as much value to Seth and Sean's audience as we could. We have learned a lot from them, and we want to give back.
Yeah.
So that was our main goal. There's there's more that we do in Amazon ads than we could possibly put in a 30-minute presentation. And I hope that you learned something that makes you lots and lots of money. That was the goal of this presentation. So thank you all so much for having us. Dylan or Seth, any comments in the chat?
So I also dropped that link in the chat, so nobody has to type it in if they don't have a phone available to scan it. That is in the chat. We got Raina saying that that will assist in changing the whole strategy. Like they're going to go redo their strategy based on what you guys said.
Love it.
Jamie says that he learned there is an ability to change the bid multipliers on the rest of search.
Yeah, that's brand new. It's brand new.
Yeah, they launched that in October.
And Juan says, yes, learned several things. Thank you. And then Raina said, like specifically rest of search is what they're going to be focusing on.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's a really big deal. We've loved that placement splitting thing for a long time. I kind of came up with that concept a couple years back when it was just top of search and product page. But really, Amazon adding the rest of search capability back in October really blew the lid off of it. We love that strategy. It's worth the work. It really is. So
it's awesome. Yet again, thank you guys so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
For everyone asking, there will be a replay. I know for some of the presentations, you're going to have to run it from the start of their presentation through to figure it out. And this is definitely going to be one of those that I would go back and watch it again.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to clarify too for the structure of the kind of group learning thing. If you're watching this in a future date on a replay, this is still valid if you're a PPP member. Like this is, if you follow PPP, this is always good for you. And there's no disadvantage to jumping in, late in the cycle, except that you'll have delayed yourself. So all that information will still be in there for you. This isn't like a cohort that's going to move past it. So
it's not a live only offer.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
We'll see you next time. Appreciate it.
All right. I'll see you guys. Thank you. And Arvin, are you here with us?
Oh, yes, Dylan, I am here.
Amazing. Are you ready for your presentation?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Oh, yeah. But yeah, congratulations to Scott rather, for that awesome presentation. Actually, I liked it. I joined late, but yeah, I did love the something.
Thanks, Arvin.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too, guys.
Maybe we'll meet in real life someday.
Someday, yeah.
Yeah, hit me up.
We love Seller Candy, by the way. So we love what you're doing. So keep up the good work.
Are you?
Thanks. Yeah, I'll be in Vegas about this March probably. If you guys will be there in Prosper, I'll meet you there.
Awesome.
That'd be fun. Are you with Seller Candy?
Yeah.
Yep, I am.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, we use Seller Candy. I love that. Love that thing. Thank you.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, we can catch up soon. Yeah.
I'll look at that.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I'm not going to take up any of your time. I'm going to leave the floor to you. I love Seller Candy. Love what you guys are doing. So get right into it, man.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Yeah, I'm thanks by the way for having me here. I'm just so excited to be here and to share some strategies and some techniques to your audience right now, because I have a very interesting topic that probably most of the sellers are experiencing when it comes to their Amazon accounts. And pardon me, it's actually 3 a.m. here in the Philippines right now. So if I apologize in advance. But yeah, here's my topic for today. Let's just share my slide. So it's actually, teaching you guys on how you get the resolution that you need and how you can actually deal with Amazon seller support and crafting the team for live and fast solutions. So I know I have a very limited time, so let me get to it. But before I start, for those who don't know what Seller Candy is, we're actually our Amazon experts, as we claim it. We're actually offering operational support to Amazon sellers like you guys, or even to agencies as their back support. We help them support, and we help them rather reinstate any listing issues or any kind of issues happening on their Seller Central account, may it be about catalog, FBA, account health violations, you name it. As long as you're not asking us to do any listing optimization or optimize and manage your PPC, just ask our team and we will make sure to give you the answer. with our tagline, never talk to seller support again, we are actually taking away the pain of you guys dealing with Amazon seller support. We know how difficult it is to get an answer right now with them from Amazon seller support. They usually just give you canned response or anything coming from their help pages, but actually it doesn't mean that we will just be raising cases or calling Amazon in your behalf. We will actually troubleshoot it. We'll look for what are the possible solutions that we can do to actually resolve any issues happening on your account, may it be a violation or just a simple stranded inventory. How are we different? We do have a team of former Amazon seller support. As you may all know, Amazon, they do have a customer service hub in the Philippines, and they do have a lot of employees that they hired and trained internally, so they know the workaround, the processes, the tools to get things resolved. But plus, we do have our own customer portal where we communicate with you guys and update with you on a day-to-day basis what's going on the ticket, how are we going to resolve it, and setting you the right expectations. Sometimes we do need to collaborate with you with getting some documentation. But yeah, the thing is that we will be doing all of this for you, because our ultimate goal is to help sellers, because every day that your listing is down is a lost opportunity for you to generate more money. So enough about Seller Candy, just a little bit more about me. I am Arvin. I'm the Chief Delivery Officer from Seller Candy. I'm the one who started Seller Candy with our CEO. I am in charge on the operations. So I basically ran the full service. I developed all of the SOPs that we have right now and improving the process implementation, improvement, and of course, maintaining quality and some client engagement. I am an accountant by profession, specializing on financial planning and analyst. And that's why I do love numbers. I do love spreadsheets, and I love Amazon report. If you know the trick, you can actually do a lot of good things from that Amazon report, maybe inventory projection or just asking Amazon for reimbursement. So in this Amazon world, I've been here for more than 8 years now, working with our CEO, starting selling on Amazon in one marketplace, which is in Europe. And with that, I actually helped to increase the revenue to over 3 million in just one region. And with all of these things that we're doing now, I stopped counting, but I believe that I've actually helped manage more than 300 Amazon accounts, maybe even 500, because we do have a lot of agencies as well that we operationally support. On the back end, I've been appearing to some podcasts the last quarter of 2023, and also helped and trained our agents, because understanding the Amazon tools is not enough to actually solve your issues. You have to know all of the basics and what are the other troubleshooting processes that you can do to resolve a stranded issue or even the most complicated issue. And yeah, as I said, I worked directly with more than 50 Amazon agencies, help them with strategizing and how to resolve issues, and for all of their clients. So enough about me. What we will be learning today is just trying to bridge the gap. So that I will be sharing with you some terminologies and also some things that you need to know in order for you to actually communicate better, which is the second part of our presentation on how you can communicate effectively with seller support, getting the right strategy. I'll have some frameworks that I can share with you later for different kind of account of violations. And the last part of it is actually crafting your team, how you can get the support that you need in growing your business, because we all know, like most businesses really need some support in order for you to scale. So yeah, let's get to it. The first part of our presentation is bridging the communication gap. So the frustration that usually you guys sellers and me, when I was doing it first, the frustration is basically coming from me not really understanding how Amazon support works, the terminologies and the departments that they do have. The funny thing about Amazon is they do have so many departments. They have the brand registry team, the seller support, the seller performance team. Sometimes they do have the storefront team, but actually they are not working well together. So your role as a seller, if you are reaching out to them, you actually have to mediate all of, apologies about the dog background, you have to mediate all of these departments for you to actually get the resolution that you need. Sometimes you have to contact the seller support team to actually update the listing. And then once the listing is confirmed, updated on the back end, then you have to go back to the seller performance team and ask them, okay, it's done now. This is the case ID, please reinstate. But the ultimate goal of doing this one is actually to reach the leadership team. Because Amazon, they have different levels. They have the customer service team who has access. Of course, they will just receive your query, but they will be highly dependent on the help pages and all the workflows that they were given during their trainings. So the captive team or the leadership team are the only one who has access to these tools to make any amendments that you need. So again, just a little bit tips in here. If you ask Amazon about buy box or algorithm or indexing, they don't have any answer for you on that one because there's actually no known process. But actually, the way to resolve it, for example, a buy box is just to go through the history of your pricing, or maybe even check the other platform and see if there's somebody else selling your product at a very low price or maybe even higher price. And then check also if there's someone else piggybacking on your listing. And the ultimate goal is for you, if you're a private label, to kick them out and so that you can take full control of your listing. So some terms in here, captive team are the one actually ensuring that the information that you have in the backend is accurate. So they are the one who has access to the tools. You won't be able to have a conversation with them by phone, but sometimes they do have in different departments. But yeah, you have, I will explain this one later. There's a process of how you can actually reach out to them. And the IIDP team, or the one in charge of the incorrect detail page, if you have anything that is wrong or confusing or maybe misleading, you can connect to them and ask them to update the information, as long as you have proof that you're actually the owner of the brand, or the reason that you're trying to update by giving them, let's say, the real world images, maybe even the copy of the trademark. But that's just some of the troubleshooting processes that I can explain to you later on. And yeah, if you're experiencing this one, and I personally experienced this a lot of times, if you are dealing with seller support, and usually you will get a lot of canned responses, or sometimes you will just have this back and forth communication, the strategy is use some keywords or terms that will actually ask the seller support team to transfer your case. I have this conversation with my team, who were all formerly Amazon seller support. They said that if they were asked to escalate the case, they have no choice but to actually escalate the case because it's part of their SOPs. But also mentioning the right department that where you want to be transferred, like for example, the restricted product team who will review your products that became restricted, or even the catalog team or the FBA team. The trick is you have to know the right department to reach out to so that you can get the resolution that you need. But it's not just about raising the cases. Again, as I mentioned earlier, which I will share on the second part of this presentation, is just having the framework of to get your listing resolved, or the troubleshooting processes before you actually raise a case. And yeah, this is what I always tell the clients or even my team. Sometimes we feel like calling Amazon is actually not giving us the answer that we're looking for, but please do so, because when you call Amazon, they will actually give you enough information to actually understand what's going on. Sometimes they will not really disclose everything, but your goal is to still reach their captive team or their leadership team, so you have a better understanding on how you can actually troubleshoot any issues happening on your account. So enough about that one. I hope that I was able to actually impart some knowledge on how you will be able to communicate and escalate your cases inside seller support. But this is actually the way of communicating with seller support. For you to have your cases resolved, first thing, which I already explained, is you should know how to communicate with Amazon, knowing the departments and how to actually mediate all of these departments, having access to platforms such as Seller Central, Vendor Central, or even the brand registry. Those are actually really important, because sometimes you cannot get an answer inside Seller Central. If you are also selling on Vendor Central, you should also try raising cases in there, or even to your brand registry team. And then, as I was keep on mentioning, there you have to follow a full process before escalating a case. Because if, let's say, you have an issue and you decided to just raise a case or call Amazon, they will just give you an answer based on their workload, that you should try this one, you should perform this one. So you're just really wasting your time, because you know that Amazon will not immediately respond to you. Sometimes it will take them 24 hours. But if you finish doing the troubleshooting before you raise the case, then you can actually request them to escalate the case to their leadership team. So by just listening to them, to the first level of support, you won't be really able to get the resolution that you're looking for. And in complex cases, maybe like account violation, before you submit an appeal or before you take action, make sure that you call them first to understand what are the information or the documents that they really need. Because Amazon is actually just giving you certain tries for you to submit an appeal. If, let's say, you have reached the appeal that they say, the number of appeals that you're allowed to, they will automatically decline. It's not that they will no longer allow you to submit an appeal, but it will just make it a lot difficult for you to actually request for a reinstatement, because at the first place, you didn't really assess what's going on. So as I was saying, there's a framework that our team will be sharing with you today, or me personally sharing with you today. This is how actually we're resolving some issues. And this meme here, this is one of our favorite memes in the company. The next morning you have an email, you receive this email coming from Jeff Bezos' team that one of your ASIN is suspended. You don't know what's going on. So yeah, don't panic. The thing is, you have to make an assessment, understand what's going on, check the performance notification, or even download your category listing report. We have some issues in here on the number to the initial troubleshooting steps, like for example, product policy. By sanitizing your listing, checking if there's actually any keyword or terms that may potentially violate Amazon terms and conditions. Like for example, antimicrobial or any health claims, or sometimes if you don't have an organic certificate, having organic keyword on your listing could lead to also suspension of your listing. For authenticity issue, it's not just about providing invoices, it's actually performing a reconciliation or understanding how many units you were able to actually send in Amazon in the last 365 days, and make sure that the invoice that you will provide kind of like at least match the number that you have sent over the 365 days. Plus, it's also important to annotate the invoice. We have to understand that working with Amazon is actually like talking to a 9-year-old. Not that they don't understand, but just because they are also not fully aware of your product. So make sure that you're highlighting the information that they want to see on the invoice, like the supplier information, your business information. Sometimes you even have to add the ASIN number on the invoice because they don't really know what this ASIN is. Imagine how many invoices they are reviewing day to day with all of these issues that they receive, or that most sellers are raising cases. For IP violation, for this one, you actually have to reach out to brand owner. Amazon will not accept any documents on this one. You have to, because Amazon will actually notify you who reported you. There will be an email coming from them with the email address of the brand owner who reported to them. So you have to reach out to them and ask for a retraction, trying to understand what's going on. If you're a reseller, yeah, just make an agreement to them that you are not going to sell their products anymore, and just ask them to retract the violation. But if you are a private label and it is actually your brand, just reach out to them, trying to understand and ask them what did you violate, and try to work it out. And if the brand owner, because I personally experienced it as well, if the brand owner who reported you will not cooperate and not retract the violation, I will actually use our communication and provide all of the documents that I have to prove to Amazon that I actually own the brand. And personally, in my experience, I was really successful on that. The second one that or the next one that I will share with you is the product safety. This is more on like product being classified as defective, expired, or missing an item. So this is more on providing an action plan, identifying why did it happen, what did you do to resolve the problem, and lastly, how are you going to prevent this from happening again? Amazon don't care. They don't really care about the other stuff that you will say, you being a small owner, that you rely on this business, and that you're asking them to please reinstate your ASIN. No, they don't care about that one. They just want to see those three questions answered, plus of course any supporting documents, like for example, for a defective product, if you have the QA process, please make sure to attach it, and all of your invoices. For hazmat, it's more of like classifying if your product is really hazmat or not. If it is a hazmat product, then provide Amazon an SDS exemption sheet. If not, then you have to provide them an SDS exemption sheet. So I know that there's a lot of issues on Amazon. If you do have questions specific to your account, drop them there, and I try to answer them later if I do have enough time to answer them. But yeah, but what if you've done all of these troubleshooting processes, but still your ASIN is still suspended? But actually for this one, this is the challenging part, that you have to continue look for alternative solutions. So, and you know that Amazon, there's no standard way of resolving issues. Maybe as the way of you resolving one stranded inventory is actually a different way that you will resolve another inventory, though they are stranded for the same reason. So you have to keep trying and trying, maybe uploading a flat file, performing a delete release, providing Amazon real-world images, or any documents necessary for the reinstatement. And if it is not, then that's the time, as I keep mentioning earlier as well, that you have to escalate to the leadership team. So how it works, you have to tell them, okay, I have performed a delete release. This is the batch ID of the delete. This is the batch ID of the relisting of this listing after 24 hours. This is the real world images. I'm totally compliant. This is maybe my trademark, or even the link to my manufacturer website. And don't worry if they will not get back to you within the next 24 hours, because imagine how many ASINs or listings that they are reviewing for reinstatement. So in our practice, try not to follow up, because the moment that you followed up on your case, your request will actually go back to the back of the queue, and then you will have to wait again. So wait until you receive a reply from their leadership team. But if, let's say, if it's already 7 days and you're not getting any response, then probably that's the time that you really need to follow up, call, or maybe create a new case that hoping that Amazon will not actually merge it. But then sometimes, yeah, raising cases and you keep getting canned responses, sometimes you just have to drop that case and create a new one, because there's some history on that case already that make Amazon support to automatically decline them. So for those of you listening, I know that this is really important. It may sound really easy, but if you want, you can take a screenshot of this one. Again, before taking action, make an assessment first. Make sure that you try to troubleshoot it first before you raise a case to Amazon, so that you will not waste time dealing with them. And the important thing is just have some considerations in here. Experience is the key for resolving issues faster. So in our experience, we've dealt with more than, I'd say, 500 sellers, and in different category, in different marketplaces. So we kind of know, and we have, I mean, in our system, when we search our history, like this kind of issue, we know how to somehow resolve this kind of problem. And we also know that Amazon is constantly changing. Maybe the process that we know right now will no longer be applicable to next month. So you really need someone to work with you on this one. You cannot really do it by yourself, which is why I'm coming to this third part of this presentation about securing or having someone as an expert to support you in getting all of these issues resolved with Amazon. But before doing that, I just want to share with you some do's and don'ts for growing your team based on our personal experiences talking to Amazon sellers when we are catching up with them, like talking to them about their problem. One of the pitfalls is actually hiring too late. That most of them, they just started hiring when they already experiencing the problem. So that's a big no-no, because we don't want to waste time. You have to act fast. And sometimes you also misunderstand your business needs. You don't know what the support that you need. And sometimes most of the sellers, when they started hiring, they don't really know what they delegate. So it is really important, though I won't be able to cover it right now, but it is really important to do a gap analysis for you to understand where are you right now with your business? What are the tasks or support that you need? And actually, what are the tasks that you don't want to do, so that you can delegate it to them? But yeah, I also just have to share with you some challenges in building a team in my personal experience as well. And also, of course, I collected this information coming from the sellers that I talked to. They are if you hire someone, you will be constantly asked for guidance, especially if they're new to your company. You have to spend time upskilling them and teaching them and training them what to do. There will also be a tendency of you micromanaging them just to get things done, especially right now that most people are working remotely. So there will be like lack of transparency as well on what they're doing and how much effort they're putting in to try to resolve your issue. So yeah, don't waste time, money in finding and hiring and also training that probably, because everyone can claim that they are an expert. So there's a lot of opportunity cost. So, but yeah, the answer is really simple. You just really need experience and numbers, and you need to have access to a larger and experienced team to your business that you can reasonably afford. And these are just the obvious benefit. One, redundancy. You cannot just rely on one person or yourself to resolve these issues, because your goal, that's the reason why you're having a business anyway, is to grow your business. So if, let's say, if you have someone and that someone is solely doing that, and suddenly that person got sick or have to go somewhere and you have this urgent issue, then that's a problem. So having another one who can actually replace or temporarily work on that thing that they're doing, maybe it's not be an issue, maybe just a regular or admin thing, maybe bookkeeping or whatever. But yeah, that's one important thing to have. And the second one is scalability. You cannot grow. I mean, some businesses may, but all businesses, as we know, they really need help to grow their business. They need to have someone that will help them run the operations, and those person that they need are actually expert, especially in the Amazon world. Amazon is always changing. They have their own policy. They have their own policy. They can change anytime they want to. So you need someone who know and understand the Amazon ecosystem. So your team could either be a freelancer that you can hire from Upwork or wherever, and then also you can hire and then you can have them as a full-time employee, or you can probably outsource to another agency, or it could be a combination of these three. But we don't know which one is right for you. But actually, this is how our team from Seller Candy can help you supercharge your business. And these are just some of the 7 things that you may consider if you want to work with us. We have agents, former Amazon support who knows the internal processes, the tools that Amazon is using. So whenever we're communicating with Amazon, sometimes we even telling the seller support, hey, can you please go to this tool and check that one, because it should be there, because seller support don't really know what's really happening, because they are relying on the help pages. You don't really need to hire them and train them and manage them, like making sure that they are available for you. We will be the one to manage them for you. We will make sure, because we're a very outcome-driven supporters. Tell us what you want to happen, and we'll make sure that everything is covered. If let's say some of our team will take a leave, then there will be someone else who will cover. There will be total transparency because we have our portal for communication. It's kind of similar to raising a case to Amazon, but instead of you raising a case to Seller Central and worrying the next day that your case is just closed with another kind response, if you raise the case in Seller Candy, we'll tell you what are the things that we will do. We'll make sure that our cases will not just be closed without any proper resolution. But then again, before we raise a case, we'll try to troubleshoot it first. And we will guarantee scalability and redundancy because we have 70 plus agents working for you. You may have 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, depends on your subscription, that will be a dedicated agent working for you. But actually, all of our team are working hand in hand. We're calibrating every day because they have their own accounts. They have their own some specific category that they're working on. So we share the knowledge. We have daily huddle where we can interact and exchange some of these new discoveries that some of our agents experience. And also we can help support in any marketplaces if you decide to expand, if you're currently selling in European region, if you want to sell in the US marketplaces and even the Australia marketplace, we can help you guys to list your products or ASIN in those marketplaces and make sure that it's totally compliant with the data and reporting. As I mentioned, I love Amazon Report. We do help sellers project inventory based on the current demand. And also we use the reports from Amazon to identify eligible transaction or eligible shipment for reimbursement. It's not just about going to the shipment dashboard and see any shipment that has discrepancy. We know Amazon, I mean, I just covered a little bit about reimbursement. Amazon have many fulfillment centers and they love moving inventory from one place to another. And the one moving inventory, actually the FBA guys, and the tendency of this inventory being lost or damaged is really high. That's why Amazon actually hates reimbursement company. Based on statistics, actually Amazon is losing a lot of money based on coming from the reimbursement. So yeah, that's what Seller Candy. And we all know that Amazon is very, very complex and we cannot prevent issues from happening, especially that Amazon's policies may change just without a notice. I remember in 2020, Amazon suddenly started asking for certificate of compliance for children toys and also some laboratory. And then also they started implementing that you cannot use any antimicrobial on your listing. So they started having that over 400 violation. I think some sellers that they have 400 violations on their account. So you have to make sure that you have someone on your team that can support you on this right away. You will be drowned with too much information. You are seeing this on your Seller Central account that Amazon is regularly sharing update. I think just last year, in last quarter of 2024, the Amazon actually made 3 sprints about the updates on the product side, and they are adding additional information. If you will not add those information, your listing will be suppressed and will not be searchable. So if you want to, this is actually our team in the Philippines. I met them personally when I moved in here. They are all experts. They know how to work with Amazon Seller Central, Brand Registry, and Vendor Central. So you don't really have to worry. Just tell them what you want to do. You don't even need to explain everything to them. Just tell them what's your outcome that you're looking for. Say, reinstate this ASIN. So we will investigate and provide you the answer. And just for this webinar, we're actually offering this exclusive offer just for this webinar. if you really find value in this, and you really need our service, and you have issues happening on your account, and if you're really thinking about it right now, just on your first month of subscription, we will be giving it to you for only $100 on the first month, and there's actually no obligation to continue. If you want to cancel, then cancel. If they say on the first month your issue is already resolved, then yeah, it should be good. Or but if you want to continue, there's actually an annual offer for 40% discount. But what does it composed of? You will have access to our team. Our team will also do a free account health of your account to identify what's really wrong. It's like on the FBA settings, on the stranded inventory settings. They will do a gap review so that you can also ask our team, maybe there's actually other issues happening on your account that you're not aware. Like, for example, the stranded inventory settings. Some sellers, they are not aware that they also have to set the auto removal on that, on the stranded inventory setting. And if you didn't set it correctly, then Amazon will automatically dispose of your inventory, even though it is still in sellable condition. Again, for 1 month, you will have direct access to myself. I'm not saying that I've been really good with this one, but I will be working with you directly in my 8 years of experience and setting all of these processes that we have right now. I will make sure that your issues are resolved. And though I discussed it a little bit, if you decide to join right now, we will also give you a free $500 reimbursement. So we will audit your account and file reimbursement in your behalf for free for $500. And we will not be charging you anything. The only thing that you have to do is to scan that QR code right there, or maybe use that link and then use that code in there and sign up. And since we're actually here, I also like to use the opportunity to introduce to you guys our new service that we will be launching next week. We call it Refundify. It's also our automated reimbursement service. And if you pre-register right now, we're actually going to, and if you're using the service and suddenly your ASIN got suspended, we will help you reinstate that ASIN for free. And the only thing that you need to do is to go to our website, refundify.io, put your name and your email address. There will be no credit card required. You just need to pre-register right now, and you will be eligible to that offering. And to be honest with you, I think that's the best offering that I can think of right now that is linked to the reimbursement. So I know I've been talking fast because I just want to make sure that I will be able to answer some questions, because I think to me that will add more value to you, especially those who have issues on their Seller Central account. But I will leave this QR code in here and our link to our Refundify for those who are interested. Again, it's only $100. There's no obligation to continue, and I will be personally working with you, plus the $500 reimbursement. So yeah, Dylan, I know I did this fast, but is there any question?
If I don't see any yet, but anybody, if you have any questions, could you drop those in the chat now? And thank you so much for getting through that content. I know you were sprinting through it to make sure you covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
thanks for the opportunity. Sorry, go ahead.
Definitely. I was just gonna say we love what you guys do over there. I've talked to the whole team, not the whole team yet, but everyone that I've spoke to from your team is awesome.
Yeah, we haven't spoke, but I mean, I'm mostly in charge of the agency clients. But if you guys want to reach out to me, my email address is arvin@sellercandy.com, and I will make sure that I will reply to you. But I also, all of those clients listening right now, if you want to talk to me, just email me and I will send you my calendar link.
All right. I also dropped your email in the chat. And if you wanted to sign up for this and you're on your computer, I dropped the link in the chat as well. So you can just click that instead of scanning the QR code or typing in bit.ly.com / or the bit.ly link, just so that's easier for you guys there. But yeah, thank you so much, Arvin. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody got plenty of value out of that. But then also yeah, I mean, it's 1/10 the cost for a whole month. So that's amazing.
Yeah, we're just doing this one for this webinar because we love you guys and we also love your audience. Yes.
Wow, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So I guess there's no question. I'll stop sharing my screen.
All right. And Saif, are you ready?
Yep, good to go.
Amazing.
All right, let me just give a quick intro then. Hi everyone, my name is Saif. I'm the co-founder of AI Hello. We're an Amazon PPC software and an agency. We offer managed services and just PPC automation with our software. We're an Amazon Advanced partner. We've worked with a few thousand brands right now, and we're doing several $100 million a year in spend. And today I'm going to talk about what I think is the most important part of PPC. And it's just hiring a good Amazon PPC specialist, right? I'm going to teach you how to get the best people on your team working on your account 8 hours a day, coming up with new ideas, coming up with new strategies, using their knowledge and their experience to better your business without you having to lift a finger. I've done, I don't know how many interviews at this point, but I'd say 1,000 plus, 2,000 plus. I've hired several dozen PPC specialists so far. A bunch of them weren't good when I was starting out. And, you know, the last 10 were really good, and I'm super happy with the hires that I've made. So I'm just going to be sharing screenshots of my most recent hire. This isn't my most recent. I think this was 2 or 3 hires ago. This was a couple months ago. I'll be sharing screenshots showing you how I found the candidate, how I assessed like whether they were good or not, what interview questions I asked, what type of answers I was expecting, the case study or test that I sent them, and how I ultimately made up my mind. I'll show you how to source the candidates from LinkedIn, you know, how to send screening questions, how to, I guess, stop using resumes to screen candidates. So I'll just go through my entire process with you. I don't really have a full deck or like an offer or a sales pitch or anything. I'm just going to be sharing screenshots of the conversations that I've had, and I'll leave some time for you guys to ask me questions at the end. Let me just pop screen share open. Give me a second because I'm used to using Google Meet, not Zoom.
No worries.
All right. How about now? Can you guys see everything?
Yep, we got you.
All right, let me just push this bar. Cool. So step 1 is obviously sourcing candidates. You can't hire if you don't have anyone to interview. The biggest misconception with this is that the good PPC specialists exist on platforms like Fiverr and Upwork and like LinkedIn job posts. The truth is that the best people are almost always in a job currently. Like they're almost always working at another agency or maybe even running their own brand or working for another brand owner or an aggregator. And they're usually not the type to just like mass apply to jobs on Upwork or mass apply to jobs on LinkedIn, right? Those people, I've tried every single method. I've spent a bunch of money on recruitment ads. I've put up a bunch of job posts. Usually with those people, I tend to find that they're not super good. You can find diamonds in the rough, but you're never gonna find like a real killer on those platforms. And I usually stay away from hiring from there just because you're gonna get a million applicants. It's gonna be impossible to go through all of them. You're gonna sit through like 50, 60, 70, 80, even 100 interviews just to find like 1 or 2 good people. So what I prefer to do is just to do targeted like recruitment or like candidate sourcing. And I have 2 main methods, LinkedIn posts and outreach. And also I have a different screening method. I don't use resumes. I'm going to cover more on why I do that later. So with the LinkedIn post, this works best if you have like a mini audience or if you have a network. If you don't, you could make this LinkedIn post in like an Amazon PPC group. I think I have an Amazon PPC group right now that's at 35,000 members on LinkedIn. It's called Amazon PPC Experts. You can request to join and I'll let you in. There's like everyone there. There are brand owners, agencies, directors of e-commerce. You can just post there and you'll have people reach out. If you have an audience, that's better, obviously. But if not, there are ways around it. This is my post, essentially. You kind of want to get people hyped up because, again, you're looking for people that are already doing well and you're trying to have them move ship, essentially. So go from that agency or that job or that brand owner that they work with where they're already getting paid well and they're already doing a great job and convince them to jump ship and move over to your company. And by the way, this is one of the hardest parts of recruiting good PPC specialists. Like if they come too easy, maybe it's because they just don't have anything else going on. And that's not always bad. Like layoffs do happen and people lose their jobs for non-performance based reasons, obviously. But generally, the really, really good ones are already in pretty good positions. And to move them over from that one company into another company is going to take a lot of effort. So my favorite PPC specialist that I've hired, I think they rejected my job offer around 6 or 7 times before I actually convinced them to come on. So I interviewed them. They said they take my test. 1 day later, they sent me a message saying, hey, I can't. I like my job. you know, this guy has done a lot for me. I can't just leave. I tell him, hey, let's book another call. I get on the call with him. I convince him again. Still doesn't do the test. And we keep doing this over and over and over again until he submits the test. He had like, I think 8 hours to do it. It's usually 72 hours. He did it in 8 hours. He submitted it. I hired him right after, and he was the best person I've worked with in terms of Amazon PPC. So this is super important. You want to be super persistent, you know, with getting the right people, and you want to go for people who are already doing well, right? Don't go for that guy who's, you know, spent like 2 months working on Amazon PPC and just took like a Upwork like VA freelancing course for Amazon PPC or some type of Amazon PPC course off Udemy. Those guys will generally not be the best. So generally what I do is I create a LinkedIn post like this. I'd get people hyped up. I'd say my company is growing a ridiculous amount month over month. This is true in my case. If it's not true in your case, I wouldn't make it up. I just come up with something else. At this point in time, I was doing 20% month over month growth. I just say like who I'm looking for. I just say like, hey, I'm building the world's best Amazon PPC software, and I'm working with the best PPC software specialists I've ever met and PPC specialists I've ever met. And I'm just looking for two things. I'm looking for intelligence and I'm looking for curiosity. And I also want some determination, right? If you have those three factors, I'm happy to hire you, or at least happy to have that conversation with you. So I'm just filtering everyone out over here, telling them what matters to me. And then this is my actual filtering mechanism. And this is why I don't use resumes. I ask them to answer 2 questions for me, right? Because a resume doesn't tell you anything. Like if someone shows up with a resume, I say like, I've been doing PPC for 5 years. You know, I spent 2 years at this agency that you might have heard about. I spent 2 years at this software company and 1 year at this aggregator. That doesn't really mean anything. I've hired like team leads and directors of like Amazon ads from huge agencies and big aggregators, and I had to fire them. And at the same time, I've hired like college kids who are 19 years old and they just killed it for me, right? So the resume tells you absolutely nothing. The answers to these questions will tell you everything. So I just give them 2 questions. They can pick and choose between them. The first one is, what's the most important or interesting thing you learned about Amazon PPC, and how has it helped you, right? I'm just filtering for, is this person learning every single day, and is this person going to be able to give me an insight that I haven't heard before, right? Or something that's at least different than what everyone else sends me, because usually you'd get at least 10, 15, 20 applicants from a LinkedIn post, and you can tell very fast like who's who based on their answers. The second one is, what's their unpopular or contrarian opinion about PPC? And essentially here, I just want to see if they're advanced enough to come up with their own opinions, regardless of what the other thought leaders are saying or what's already known to everyone. So over here, I have some actual answers that I've copy pasted from my LinkedIn account. These are actual candidates. This is a good answer. So this is the first question about what they learned. They actually gave me 2 answers, which is a plus. They gave me a much longer answer than usual. So most people are sending like 1 or 2 line long answers. Over here, this guy had paragraphs and bullet points, and they had 2 points actually. They spoke about search query performance, which isn't like super insightful, but it's something that many people don't consider. Then they also spoke about band tailored promotions, which at that point had only been out for like a couple weeks, right? So they had a new feature, which means they're always learning and testing, and they had a mini case study about it, right? So they used this on a brand and they made 30,000 in revenue. This is a very good answer. They use something that's new, they have insights about it, and they wrote a couple paragraphs for me. After that, they had an answer for the second question as well. So they did both, and that's good. Over here, I asked for their contrarian opinion about PPC. They said lower bids don't always mean lower ACOS. This is kind of good. A lot of people know this. The answer is super short. If it wasn't for that first answer, I wouldn't have considered this candidate. For the next one, I have a bad answer for you. So the very first one about learning is that they've learned the effectiveness of Amazon sponsored brand video ads. Again, this is just super, super basic. So either this person has not learned anything in months, or this person just has no idea what they're doing. Like they just started PPC a couple of weeks ago, and the newest thing they've heard of is sponsored brand video, right? This is a very bad answer. The one after, about the contrarian one, again, this isn't contrarian at all. This is PPC 101. So over here, They say it's a mistake to put a high emphasis on like high competition keywords. Instead, you should focus on long tail keywords. Again, this is not contrarian in any way, and it doesn't show that they've been able to develop their own unique opinions. That's why I went ahead and I interviewed this first guy, and I just told the second guy it's probably not going to work out, right? If you have someone that you're iffy about and you're not sure if you should go ahead or not, you can throw a brain teaser at them. So my favorite brain teaser is this. How would you estimate how many organic clicks happened on August 1st of 2023 on Amazon US alone, right? There's no direct answer for this, and this isn't something that you can Google. And over here, I'm just trying to see like how this person thinks, because you just put them on the spot, right? No one knows the answers for this, or no one even thinks out the answer for this, just casually, like on a Tuesday afternoon. This is putting them on the spot, and you can find out pretty quick if they're going to think on their feet and come up with a logical answer, or if they're not. Some answers I've gotten for this have been pretty bad. Around half of the people you speak to will just say, hey, I don't know. Or hey, I tried to Google this up, I couldn't find anything. That's one possibility. The second possibility is they give you an answer that doesn't make any sense. They just throw a number out at you like, hey, like 2 billion clicks a day. It just doesn't make any sense, right? And they don't give you any reasoning. Over here, you're not looking for the answer per se, you're looking for how they get there and if it makes sense logically, right? Like if I say 2 billion organic clicks happen on Amazon per day, it just doesn't make any sense because that would mean 6 organic clicks per person in the US every single day, right? And that's besides the ad clicks. That's something else. Once you have your LinkedIn post up, you're gonna want to start poaching. So this is my favorite strategy because LinkedIn is kind of inbound in terms of posting, so you can't really control the quantity or the quality of the people you're getting. You just get what you get, and especially if you don't have an audience, it's kind of hard to come across good people. Outbound is you reaching out to people to try to book interviews with them. So over here, again, I'm looking for people working in agencies, people working in aggregators, people working in companies similar to mine, and I'm just filtering them out based on like their profile and just my general like feel of things. And I reach out, right? So over here, I just went to this agency, which I blurred out, and I just opened up the people tab on LinkedIn. I found everyone who works there and I started reaching out one by one, right? Like, hey, I'm safe, I'm hiring for this position. Do you want to have an interview, right? Another thing you can do is just find them indirectly. So instead of searching up the agencies and trying to rack your brain for different companies you can poach from, you can just go to the posts of thought leaders. I have Destiny over here from Better AMS, and you can just go through her likes and you can just open up and you can see the people who like the post. And this filters for 2 things. Number 1, anyone who likes is obviously into Amazon PPC. Number 2, they're actively consuming content and they're learning. So this is a stronger filter than just working for a big agency, because you could be in a big agency that has several hundred employees and you could be horrible and no one would have any idea that you're bad. So over here, this is the better way to recruit, but I run both playbooks because I want as many candidates as possible. For the actual message, you want to again excite them, because someone in a good job who's getting paid well and likes their team and their manager isn't inclined to leave, right? They'd rather be where they are. And that's why you have to convince them or work really hard on convincing them to make the move, or at least speak to you. Because once you're on the call after the interview, you have to pitch them super hard if they're good, right? If they're good, you're going to have to pitch them super hard to come onto your team. So over here, I just said, hey, Faizan, my team and I are building the world's most advanced Amazon PPC software, and we're growing 20% month over month. We're looking to hire new PPC specialists to be part of this rocket ship. Would you be open to an interview? Right? My conversion rate on this from message to interview, around 40 to 50%. When I send a bad message or like a plain message, it's usually 10%. So you get around 4 to 5 times more candidates when you send a message like this. And even if what you're doing isn't super exciting, you can just make it sound more exciting, right? Like if you're just selling towels on Amazon, you can be like, hey, I'm in the, I don't know, bed and bath category, growing at this rate. I'm launching this many ASINs. I want to be seller rank, like number, whatever, worldwide, and so on. And you can try to get them interested in what you're doing, right? Once you have people and you've booked interviews and you have at least, I'd probably speak to at least 30 people. And this is 30 booked interviews, not 30 candidates that you've reached out to. So 30 booked interviews per specialist that you want to hire. So once you have 30 on your calendar, you want to start thinking about the interview, right? So I have a 2-part hiring process. One is the interview, and this has like 60 to 70% of the weight. And the other is a test that I give the candidate, and this has the remaining 30 to 40%. So in the interview, one big misconception is you should ask them about their like Amazon PPC experience or the strategies they run, or ask them to show you a case study. Most of this doesn't tell you anything. And case studies are just like cherry-picked examples of when they didn't mess up, right? Like if I could get like their worst account and I could go through it, I'd probably find some things I wouldn't be very excited about, right? So case studies mean absolutely nothing. Amazon PPC questions won't tell you as much. If you can ask them right, then you can ask them with like very high level of complexity. That could help out, but most brand owners don't know as much about PPC. So it's just useless to go through this line of questioning. What I do ask about though is like mindset or like motivation related questions. So I have 4 main questions that I like to go through, and those usually tell me everything. I have follow-up questions if I want to keep the conversation going, or if I wasn't sure about their answers for the first 4 questions. But generally, my very first question is, what did you learn about us before this call? Or in other words, like, how did you prepare for this interview? Right. So as soon as someone gets on, I say my highs and my hellos. And my very first question is, hey, what did you learn about us before this call? Right. Really, really, really good PPC specialists. I've checked everything. And if you're like a brand owner and it's hard to Google you, like you want to add something in like the message that you send them before they book the call or before the interview on your LinkedIn post to give people a way to search you up. Because if you're unsearchable, then you can't really blame them. You have to give them a way to search you up. And then on the call, you have to ask very specific questions of what they know about you. The world's hardest working, smartest, most curious, and best PPC specialists always do their research before the call, right? I've never had someone show up not doing their research and end up being good. Every single hire I made where they showed up without doing research ended up bad, right? Ended up being bad. So this is always the first question I ask. And sometimes if they don't answer this well, I just tell them it's not a fit. And I just wish them the best of luck, because I'll never, ever hire someone who can't answer this question properly. So to give you an idea of what a proper answer is like, essentially, for my case, like as an Amazon PPC software and an agency, I want them to search me up, right? Maybe watch some of my videos. I have some content on YouTube that you guys can check out. I have a blog. I have a website. Obviously, I have a LinkedIn profile for both me and my company. They can see my listing on the Amazon partner directory. They can try to search up my customers. I had someone reach out to people on my team and have a conversation with them before meeting me so that they can prepare for my interview. I had this other job, which wasn't like a specialist job for Amazon PPC. It was like a project manager position, where I had people go through an entire course about the tool that I mentioned before showing up, so that they'd show up prepared. So that's generally what you want to see. If someone just has like a very big idea of what you do, like, oh, hey, I checked the website, then you ask them something about the website and they have no idea what they're talking about, or they only know the very basics, then that probably means they haven't done their research. You'll hear a lot of excuses. So you're going to hear people who say like, sorry, I was busy. Sorry, I was traveling. Sorry, I was doing this or that. Everyone has 30 minutes to go and check your website and your LinkedIn and anything else that you have, maybe your Amazon listings if you're a brand owner. So this is never an excuse, and you should never listen to it. If someone says that, for me, it's immediate no. I'm just not gonna hire that person. And yeah, that's the first thing that you want to look for. After that, you want to ask them about their biggest achievements. Winners always win. So if someone has been working for a few years, or even someone who's just out of college and they have no examples or no track record of them winning, generally I wouldn't bet on them turning into a winner once they work with me. So I want to bet on winners. I want to make sure bets. I don't want to bet on someone who doesn't have a good track record of producing good results. It doesn't have to be Amazon PPC. Again, I don't want to see their case study or their last account. I don't want them to screen share Campaign Manager and show me their last client. That's not something that I care about. What I want to know is if they've won in any capacity over the last few years. So some answers I've liked is someone from like a not so well-to-do family managed to get a full ride scholarship to the best university in their country. They started an online bookstore there, and they were able to get 50% market share between them and the university-owned bookstore. I had someone who started selling leather jackets online when he was 14. I had someone who started freelancing at 19 years old and made enough money to travel the world. Obviously, you're going to get different examples, and a bunch of them are going to be related to PPC. I tend to hire younger people. That's why most of my answers come on like earlier in their life. But some people might have specific examples from their previous job, right? So you want to look for a trail of successes. Ideally, they should be able to mention more than one. and you should only look for people that have had success in the past, right? After that, you want to ask how they learn new things. Again, huge like measure for future success. If someone's learning something every single day, they're eventually going to get better. They're going to get better at an exponential rate. And people who learn every day tend to be smarter and just better workers, and they tend to like their job more. So that's something that I really look for. Look for people who listen to podcasts, read books, follow people on LinkedIn, go through courses, and ask them for very, very specific examples. No one here is going to tell you, hey, I don't learn at all. They're just going to say something like, oh, I took this course about, Amazon PPC. You go and you ask them, hey, when's this course? When did you take this course? And they're like, oh, I took this 2 years ago before my last job. Or what did you learn from this course? And they don't remember anything from the course. Or what was the most recent thing that you watched related to Amazon PPC or business or whatever, job they're going to take, right? And then at the same time, they just don't know how to answer, right? Or they can't give specific examples. That's another thing. After that, my final question is, tell me about the time you took initiative for a company that you worked for. Again, over here, the best people should be able to name more than one instance where they took initiative. If they can't, again, it probably means they're not going to do it for you. Winners have a track record of winning. People who take initiative have a track record of taking initiative. If they can't name at least 2 or 3 examples, I wouldn't bet on them taking initiative for you, right? This is the interview. These are a bunch of extra questions. You guys can maybe take a screenshot or have a look. I'm not going to go through all of them just because we're running over time right now. Again, these are some red flags that you want to look at. Just look for pre-rehearsed signs, people who aren't like genuine in their answers, people who sound like they memorized like different answers off the internet, like they searched up like how to ace a job interview and they just memorized those answers and so on. People who are very slow to get to the point, people who are hard to communicate with, you just don't understand each other, people who start rambling about stuff you don't ask about, and people who are boring to hang out with because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. You want someone who you go out with and maybe have a drink with. And also people who are more concerned about their compensation, things like immigration, promotions, bonuses, or anything else besides you, the role, or the company, right? I had a call with someone. They were Canada-based, so they were based out of Canada. They were somewhere in Asia, and all they wanted to speak about, we had a 40-minute call. I didn't get one question in. All they wanted to speak about was how I'd help them immigrate to Canada, how much money I'd pay them. They even asked to live with me, which is very weird. They asked if they could move into my house because they didn't have a place, obviously. So they just spent 40 minutes and I said, like, sure, I'll get back to you. And, I just sent them a message after on LinkedIn saying it's not going to work out, right? That's the last thing. So have or try to hire people who are focused on the right things. At the end of the interview, you want to feel that you're very impressed. Like you want to be like super, super impressed. If someone's like, kind of good, kind of bad, you're not super sure about them, that's the wrong person, right? One of my mentors said this sign that I really like, something like, if there are any doubts, then there's no doubt, right? If you have any doubt, even if it's 1% that this person might not work out or isn't a fit for you, then there's absolutely 0 doubt that you shouldn't hire them, right? Finally, if they pass the interview, and this is usually 2 out of 10 people, I give them what I call the test. So the test is a simulation of a real life scenario. You guys can just copy this. I think they might be sharing this with you after the what's it called? The webinar is over. If not, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just Safe El Hager. You'll be able to find my name right here and I'll be happy to send it to you. Again, this is just like a simulation. I just give them over here. I told them there's this brand on Shopify called Outway. They're eyeing an Amazon launch and they need you to create a plan for them for the next 90 days. Tell us how you're going to launch their products, explain why the strategy will work, what objectives you're going to go after, and what research you did before coming up with this plan, right? Again, over here, this is the more difficult test. I told them, hey, you have this brand that's doing 15 million a year on Amazon ads. They are trying to expand right now and they're maxed out on PPC and they want to try other ad types. So over here, I'm testing them on whether they'd be able to come up with something like for like Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Twitter ads, even whatever else it is. And if they can present a full plan with numbers for me, right? These are some good and bad answers. I'll just run you through this very quick because I'm going to have to run soon. But this is a good answer. So over here, this is their brand Outway that's launching on Amazon, supposedly. Over here, they did their research. They checked their, Instagram followers. They checked the niche that they're in. They checked the number of searches for their brand keywords on Amazon. So again, this is a good sign. they found that a lot of the competitors were advertising on their keywords. They looked at the competition, right? They found the other brands that are competing. They found their best sellers on the website, and they decided these are the ones that we're going to launch for. And they researched the margins for this product category. So this is a lot of research. Most people aren't going to do this amount of research. And they had like a short summary of the plan over here. They had the objective. They had the full PPC strategy. They had some notes over here. They had a long explanation of how the thing would work. So that's it. I won't cover the other good one. The bad one is just very basic. So over here, they did very minimal research. The whole thing is 2.5 pages, whereas I think something like 6 pages, I can't see 5 pages. For the other guy, this guy got it done in 8 hours. This other guy got it done in 3 days, and he did half of the work, right? And half of the effort. So this is pretty much it. I don't really have anything to sell you. I just like speaking out this topic. If you want to use our own PPC specialist, you can go to our website, www.aihello.com, and I'd be happy to speak to you guys about what we offer. And we could maybe have our specialists work on your account if that's something you're interested in. We have one question here. Have you ever had a candidate that you really wanted to poach that wouldn't bite? And how were you able to convince them to jump ship for you? Yeah, that has happened multiple times. Generally, I'm just very, very persistent. So I'll reach out over and over and over again. You know, I can go through 5 or 6 no's and still reach out. If I'm able to get their phone number, I'll call them on their phone. I'll offer them more money. I'll figure out what matters to them outside of the money. That one guy that I told you about where I hired after like 6 or 7 attempts, that person wanted to get into software engineering. So it's like, hey, I'm a PPC software company. I can teach you how to code and get you to work sorry, I just was reading their questions. I lost my train of thought. I could get them to work on some of our code. This was something non-monetary that I convinced them with, right? So that's something you could do. Other than that, just the regular stuff, more money, you know, more benefits. If you do equity, you can offer them equity. People usually like equity, especially if you're like a tech company or an agency and you plan on exiting sometime. So those are just like the regular things that you can use. And sometimes they just don't move over to your company. There are other positions where I'd fly out to the person, probably not the PPC specialist position, but if it's something in leadership and I'm really convinced about the person that I want to hire, I'd fly out to meet them. So it's just like different levels to it, and it just depends on how much you want to work with them. For the slide deck, let me just post a link here actually. This has all of the Google Docs in it. Let me just shoot this over. You guys can use this, and you can reach out to me if you have any questions again on LinkedIn.
I am sending that in the chat to everyone. Mark had another question. What is a good starting place to start negotiating wage?
So, yeah, it would depend on the geography you're hiring from. So if you're hiring someone from, I don't know, New York or San Francisco, you're going to pay them, you know, a different amount. And if you're hiring out of India or Pakistan, you'll pay them a different amount. Generally for India or Pakistan, you can go as low as 400 a month, but generally those people tend to not be that good. If you want someone good, I do something in the range of 1,000 to 2,000 a month. That's generally enough for like 95% of PPC specialists.
Awesome.
Right. Anything else, guys?
I am not seeing any questions right now, but that definitely was nice. I like how systematized you have your hiring process, and you almost treat it like it's almost the same way that people say you should treat acquiring new employees like you treat client acquisition, and that's exactly what it seems like you're doing there.
Right, and the employee retains the client, especially if you're an agency. I think most people here are probably brand owners, so it doesn't apply to them, but the employee retains the client. So if you don't spend enough time hiring and you get like really, really bad people, what's going to end up happening is all of the clients that you spent all of this time and money trying to acquire are actually going to end up churning. So you're going to lose that money anyways. They're going to leave you within a couple months. So you have to spend more time hiring than you do acquiring customers.
Jay just said very good.
I'm glad I could be helpful. I'm always happy to answer more questions if you guys want to reach out to me. It's safe@aihello.com, by the way, if you want to reach out on my email too.
I'm also dropping that in the chat for everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and presenting. I really appreciate it. I know that's one thing that when I first started doing it, I struggled with was hiring. So it took me a long time to figure out like a good system for it. And seeing somebody else that has a really nice system around how they hire is really nice to see.
Yeah,
And
there's an
helpful.
actual YouTube video for this too. So if you guys go to AI Hello on YouTube, I have the actual like Notion doc screen shared as well. It's like, I don't know how long it is, like 20, 25 minutes. I basically cover everything we spoke about today. So if you guys want like a rerun of all of this information, just head over to my YouTube channel and you'll also find other videos about Amazon PPC and like sales strategies and stuff.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dave.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, everyone, Safe was the last presenter today. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. It's been really great having you all on here, and I hope you learned a lot of valuable things from all the presenters we had on today. And have a good rest of your day and have a fantastic week, everyone. All right. Signing off.
All right, see you guys.